Hello, and welcome to an episode of Drinking the Kool-Aid. This is a comedy podcast dedicated to the mysterious. My name is Cassidy.
My name's Amanda.
And we have to just briefly address the elephant in the room.
Oh, God.
Someone tried to shoot Trump this weekend. We were all at a party.
Mm-hmm.
What a crazy time to find out that there was an assassination attempt.
I know. I was kind of like sweating, like anxiously anticipating you bringing this up on the podcast. And I was like, I just can't. I can't go down this rabbit hole today. I can't do it.
Well, I mean, there's not really anything to discuss, but it also is a huge deal.
No, I know.
So I feel like not saying anything would be weird. Like that would seem like more purposeful.
I'm just so tired of like every couple of months living through some like insane historical event. Can we stop it?
Yeah, like last week we hit record highest temperature ever recorded on Earth.
Oh.
And then Vegas had their highest temperatures ever recorded. And that asshole and his bitch wife left their baby out in it and the baby died. And then they raised $50,000 on GoFundMe. People donated $50,000 to these people.
I can't.
Don't worry, they're not getting charged because he's a cop.
I'm going to lose my mind. I'm already sweating.
Hooray.
And
that is my opinion, that they are a bitch and an asshole. I don't know if that's legally
the terms.
I don't know if you can legally. That has just been my opinion with the facts that have been presented to me.
Right. I just I just need some calmness, you know?
Oh, then you're not going to like what I wanted to talk about today.
Oh, boy.
As we're drinking out of cans, too.
No, what are you going to do to me?
Have you not been seeing all those videos on YouTube and TikTok of people finding weird things in their cans?
What do you mean?
Okay, this one girl found she thinks a part of a finger in her can of like beans that she was eating out of the can.
In her beans?
Yeah, I know. Is nothing sacred?
Not the beans. Are you joking?
Nothing
my ass?
sacred. And then somebody found a dead mouse in their poppy. Those like probiotic drinks. I think it was a poppy.
The ones you like?
I drink Olipop, but I mean the same
Olipop,
idea.
Olipop.
And then somebody else found like maybe it was the big bacteria thing was in the poppy, and then somebody else found in like a can of like Monster or something. This is me remembering things. So once again, allegedly, I found a whole mouse in the can.
Is that why you shook your can?
It is why I shook my can.
I hate you so much. I watched you shake it before you took a sip.
Because it's really on my mind.
Okay, well, should we pour this into a cup?
It's really
then?
been weighing heavy. Can you imagine if we're talking about it and it happens? Like that would seem so like we planned that. And it looks all clear.
It would have
in
seemed
there.
staged, huh?
I think it looks all clear.
Like other things. I'm just kidding.
Like some other things.
I'm just kidding.
Like stage productions of
I'm joking.
Plays.
I'm joking.
Those are staged. This is a comedy podcast, first of all.
Yeah, guys, we're just joking.
We're just two girls. I'm not alleging any of my information is ever correct or right.
It's just all jokes.
I'm just saying things that I observe and report.
Right. But now I'm really worried that there's something in my can.
It doesn't feel heavy. Mine doesn't, at least.
Let me see the difference. No, they're about the same.
Okay, so I would say that there's probably nothing substantial in either can.
Well, there could be like a piece of poop. That would suck.
C'est la vie.
That would really suck. Like you're drinking and then it just like hits your upper
Stop.
lip.
You're going to make me throw up. That's way grosser.
That's grosser than a dead mouse?
Poop? Yes.
What?
I eat dead animals all the time.
A dead mouse. A dead mouse rotting in your can.
I even eat raw dead animal all the time.
Sick.
But I would never indulge in any fecal matter.
I mean, I wouldn't indulge in either one of those things personally.
Ooh, speaking of, I actually had sushi last night. This new sushi place opened up by us. It's going to bankrupt me.
Well,
I can't. Every time I go, I order way too much food. And then I'm so full and so sick and spend way more money than I want to. Because it's so affordable that I'm like, yeah, I can order like 5 rolls. That's fine.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
but then you have more for the next day.
But then I'm like, well, I also need miso soup and I also need a beer.
Yeah, probably like 7 beers.
Yeah, you can get a pitcher for like $16.
Oh my God.
I know.
So you need 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get it?
That's how it works.
Sorry, I'm all over the place. Today's the first day of my period and that is my most psychotic day of my cycle. And so there's just a lot happening inside this little noggin of mine.
Yeah, and I finished mine, so
I know, I'm jealous.
So I'm just my normal self, really.
Okay, fine. We can stop talking about gross stuff. We can talk about something cool.
Okay, tell me.
Have you seen the Vampires in New Orleans videos?
No.
Okay, so this lady, she made a video. She has like a YouTube channel. Let me look up her name. She calls herself like the Fat Storyteller or something. Let me look her up because she started like this whole trend thing.
Well, I mean, we know the Casket Girl story.
Casket Girl story?
Yeah, I told you that one on the live episode for Halloween.
Oh, her name is Fat Girl Freestyle.
Okay.
And she's a Lyft driver in New Orleans. And she told a story that set the internet off about how she was in a Lyft and she picked somebody up and that person was a vampire.
Okay, and how does she know?
So she says that the whole interaction felt really weird from like the moment the girl gets in the car, and then the girl like tells her like, oh, you've got like really good energy, and like is asking her a lot of questions, and then the woman touches her on her shoulder and she said it felt like time stopped and like everything stopped and like she didn't know where she was or what she was doing, and then she like snaps out of it and she's driving and she looks back and the woman is leaned back like not near her, right? And she goes, what did you just do to me? And the woman is like, oh, I'm an energy vampire.
An energy vampire.
And then she tells this woman, the Fat Girl Freestyle girl, she tells her, so I am an energy vampire. There are lots of vampires in New Orleans. Some drink blood, but those are like really rare because those are like the really ancient ones. Some feed off of positive energy, some feed off of negative energy, some feed off of sexual energy, like, and they will get it from people. And this is one of the few places where you can get any of those things like at any given time. And then so all these other people who like live in New Orleans or had weird experiences in New Orleans are coming forward with their stories to be like, oh my gosh, that reminds me of the time I went to New Orleans with my friends and I locked eyes with this guy across the bar. And I felt like I was being like hypnotized by him, and it was really, really weird. And then I got like snapped out of it, and I told my friend like, hey man, we should leave. And they both leave. And then on the way home, the friend is like, this guy was looking at me and I couldn't, we were locked eyes. And the other guy's like, that's impossible. I was locked eyes with that guy and we were not sitting right next to each other. So how was he looking at both of us at the same time?
Ew.
Like stuff like that.
Ew.
And so there's all these stories. You guys should look it up. They're on like YouTube and on TikTok. If you just look up Vampires in New Orleans. Yeah.
Great.
So
that's just another fucking thing that I need to be out here.
You don't live in New Orleans.
Yeah, but we want to go.
Yeah, well, we want to go to a lot of places. And let's be honest.
That's so true. That's so true. New Orleans was the one place that I was like, we'll probably get there.
Yeah. I feel like we probably could manage at some point going this year.
Yeah.
But with this, the way the weather's been, I'm not going until like November.
Yeah, it's going to be way too hot.
And
no fucking I don't need no sweaty sucking vampire sucking my sweat out of
Sweat
my
vampire
boobs. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, you know how
weird
like,
visual images you went for.
Under boob sweat. I don't know. It just feels like a really sweaty area.
You get under boob sweat?
Yeah. You should. You have big boobs.
Yeah, of course I do. I'm just saying I didn't know you were working with enough.
You can get under boob sweat and not have a lot of boob, okay? Take it from someone who knows.
Like speaking from experience.
But the vampire would love your under boob sweat more than mine, so maybe I'll just push you towards them.
Dude, if you want the real sweat from me, you got to get that back of the knee sweat. I'd be sweating there.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, that's real.
Really everywhere for me right now.
Speaking of, yeah, I was like, every pore in my body right now feels like it's sweating. It is 100 degrees. Amanda set the air conditioner, but she didn't put it on cold, and so it was just blowing air in here.
Oopsie.
So it's very hot.
I'm an energy vampire. Ooh.
That's my favorite guy from What We Do in the Shadows.
Literally,
so.
he's my favorite.
He's so freaking funny.
I love him so much.
Whenever he shows up in anything, he makes whatever. I don't even know that actor's name.
He's so funny. We saw the actor who plays Guillermo at Midsummer Scream last year.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Mm-hmm.
Which we're going again this year.
Yes,
it's in 2 weeks. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Mark Proshk.
Sounds like that would be his name. That sounds like the name of an energy vampire.
He is so funny on The Office too. When he shows up, he's so funny. He's like that character. And he's like, well, I'm like half deaf in my left ear and I can't do anything. They're like, okay, sure, man. And whenever he shows up, he's just so funny.
He's just like a funny guy.
He's very funny. He's got a vibe about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a good vibe.
Got a good energy.
Good energy.
For sucking yours.
For sucking your right out of your head.
That's right. I know a couple energy vampires. If I do say so myself.
They don't even need it to live. They just do it for the fun of the game.
Yeah, they just like the second they walk in the room, you're just like, oh.
They're like, oh, geez, Louise.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a few people like that too.
Hate those guys.
Me too. What a bummer.
I mean, technically I could be an energy vampire, but like not necessarily like sucking the energy out of people. But I was told that people work different at my job based on the mood I'm in. So
I think that just means you're a bitch.
Oh.
I think that's the technical term.
The words that were used were, you're very influential, Amanda. So like if you're in a bad mood, like everyone's in a bad mood.
Like if you're in a bad mood, you make it everybody's problem. I think that's just being a bitch.
No, I don't know. I think I'm an energy vampire. That's what I'm going to go with.
You're like, I prefer the term influential.
I am an influencer.
Yes.
Yes.
Of bad vibes.
I bring the bad vibes and I bring the good vibes. You never know which one you're going to get. It's always a surprise.
You love to see it.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I like that about myself personally.
All right. Well,
I think that also makes me just a super Leo, because when I was told that, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, she texted me that immediately when somebody said it. She said, guess what? They just told me, like, they said if I show up in a bad mood at work, it ruins everybody's day. Isn't that awesome? I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, like I influence how everybody feels all day at work.
I'm just saying.
She was so proud of herself. I was like, that is the most Amanda take on that, someone saying that ever.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah, I wouldn't know because I work alone with my dog.
And with me.
And with you. Yeah, you're the only coworker I interact with.
That's true.
And I put you in a good mood, usually.
That is very true.
Yeah.
I feel like we do a good job. Like if you're feeling some type of way, and like you've said this before, but luckily we're not usually in a bad mood at the same time.
Yeah.
And when we are, we somehow get out of it together.
Yeah, that's true. We talk it out.
We talk it out. We flip that bitch upside down.
We do. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because there are people who just, the second you meet them, you're like rancid vibes.
Yeah, disgusting.
Like just being around you makes me uncomfortable. You haven't even really done anything. And I know there's always that meme of like when the person you hated for no reason gets outed as being like a creep or a weirdo or a jerk or something. And you're like, yes, finally, I have a reason that I fucking hated them. But sometimes you really just like don't vibe with someone.
There's a guy at work that I just don't like. And he's like so nice to everybody and like brings people gifts. And I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like even when they're doing good things, you're like, I know you're not doing that for a good reason because I hate you. And then people will be like, why do you hate them? And you're like, I just do.
I know. And everyone thinks I'm a bitch because they're like, he's so nice. And I'm like, I don't know.
But yeah, I'm a full believer. Because here's the thing. I know for a fact there's people who feel that way about me. And guess what, girl or boy or whoever feels that way. I'm sure there's more than one of you. I support you hating me for no reason. And I support you just avoiding me at all costs. That is fine with me. If you don't like my vibe, I probably shouldn't be around you anyway. But they're all are also, on the other hand, there are people who just, the second you meet them, you're like, I would trust them like with my firstborn child.
Right.
Like my boyfriend has this friend who I've only met him like 3 or 4 times. Every time I meet him, I'm just like, oh my gosh, Jamie's here. Like I'm like,
I love you.
I'm like so excited. And he's like, we do not know each other, right? But like, I don't know what it is about him. He has like a good vibe.
I love that.
Yeah. And I'm like he is a professional skateboarder and he was trying to do this really hard trick and my boyfriend was helping him with it. So my boyfriend has an electric motorcycle. And so he was like towing him into the trick so he could get enough speed.
Oh.
He was actually trying to slide.
Why are you pointing at me like I know?
Well, you're going to know where this location is.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know anything about skateboarding.
You know that wall? It used to be Cafe Ambrosia's parking lot.
Yes.
Yeah, he was trying to slide on his skateboard all the way down there. It's like 50 feet.
Okay.
And so, but he needed a lot of speed. So my boyfriend was towing him, getting him to like almost 20 miles an hour so he could get on there and have enough speed to do it.
Yeah, because then you have to like jump up and then the middle of your board is like on the wall, right?
Yeah. And then slide and then keep like your balance or whatever. It's actually pretty cool. I'll show you. I think I sent you the video.
I would love to be able to do something like that.
Oh, dude, me too. If I stub my toe, I'm out. I'm out for like 3 hours.
Yeah, same.
And I watched his, like we watched, because I was like, oh, I've never really seen him skate before. I've just met him, you know. And my boyfriend was like showing me his highlight reel or whatever on YouTube. And they also have a bunch of him falling down, obviously, because that's the funny part. And like, he fucking falls down. And he's like he's a little dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like falling down like these three fucking stories of stairs, like hitting his head. He's like bleeding, and then he gets up and like finishes the trick. It couldn't be me.
And then he puts his fist in the air. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. I can't stop. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I can't. I don't know how he does it.
No, that's really cool.
But what I was saying is because I like his vibe so much, I was like, I really am rooting for him. Like, I really hope he gets this trick.
Yeah. And you're like, if it ever came out that you were like a pedophile or something, I would be really heartbroken.
Really disappointed. Yeah.
And then
But
everyone
I
would
don't
be like,
think
you
that would
barely know
happen.
him.
You
Like, who
probably
cares?
shouldn't say that about people that I'm referencing.
No, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying if it did, you would be heartbroken.
Why'd you go immediate pedophile?
Because that's the only thing I could think of at the time.
Okay.
What else was I supposed to
I
say?
don't know.
A murderer?
Sometimes I'm worried about your off the top, like what comes to your head first.
A murderer?
Like sucking sweat out of your boobs, people being pedophile.
Well, I was gonna
thinking
say
like
your ass crack, and then I said boobs. So
I was gonna say like,
better.
oh, like I found out he cheated on his wife. I'd be really disappointed because he didn't seem like
no,
the
you
type.
have to go to the extremes.
I don't like to do that.
It's more fun that way.
I say I don't like to do that. I don't like to do that when I'm thinking about people I actually
was gonna
actively
say,
know in real life.
You are a certified hater, so you do.
I am, but I'm
to do that.
I'm saying I'm talking about someone that gives me good vibes.
Yeah, I know, and I'm sure he's great.
Oh my gosh, can you relax? I need you to relax. First of all, big breath.
I feel like he's amazing and really good at skateboarding.
He's really good.
Okay.
I'll show
And he's never cheated on his wife a day in his
I'll
life.
show you his highlight reel. Anyway, Jamie, I know you don't listen, but sorry about that.
For the record, I don't know him, so I can say whatever I want.
No, you can't.
Oh, I can't. Sorry.
Remember when we said that you're not an energy vampire, you're just kind of a bitch?
I'm sorry. What?
Anyway, aren't you glad we showed up with the most rancid vibes in the world? Just absolutely killer vibes.
Yeah.
Like negative killer, not killer in a good way.
No, yeah, like absolutely.
Yeah, so bad.
I don't know. I was feeling pretty good today. Until right now, actually.
I feel pretty good, but the problem is I just want to eat fast food so bad. I want it so bad. I've been so good. I haven't been eating fast food like at all. What?
Do you have one hand painted?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got ambitious. Painted one hand and it looks like shit.
Oh no, I like that color.
It's a nice color. I just got a brand new, like a trio of kind of pastel-y. They're like kind of 70s mid-century colors.
It's like an orangey, like pastel vintage color. I like it.
Because I used to paint my fingernails a lot and it stops me from biting my nails, and I'm trying to stop biting my nails again because I started biting them again. And so I bought 3 new colors and was really excited to use them. But I think I had 2 recently put on lotion, and so the nails were a little like slippery. And so like the nail polish was separating, and I was trying to do more coats, and so now it's like super uneven and like looks like shit. The color's really nice, but
it really doesn't look that bad.
And so then I said, well then fuck, I'm not gonna do the hard hand.
Right.
If I'm not feeling good about the easy hand.
Because I was like looking and I was like, oh, you have your nails painted, and then I saw your other hand and I was like, just kidding.
I got a new band for my Apple Watch too.
Oh,
and
that's
cute.
Very
70s.
70s gym class. I like that.
It looks like a yeah,
like a sweatband from gym class. Yeah.
Because I love the ones that you can just slip on and off.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
See, those are good vibes right there.
Oh shit.
What?
I forgot the sunglasses I want to give you.
Aw, damn it.
And they're so cute. You're gonna like them so much.
Well,
guess we have to hang out again this week.
Guess we have no choice.
Guess you have to hang out with me.
But to like see each other multiple times.
Well, want to know what I really want to do?
What do you really want to do?
I would really like to eat Wingstop with you sometime soon.
Butter my biscuit and call me princess. Please.
Butter my biscuit and slap my ass. That's what I thought you were going to say.
Suck my sweat out of my boob.
Suck my boob sweat. You got it.
I love Wingstop.
I don't know why that just, I realized we both love Wingstop so much and we've never had it together.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do a mukbang again for the kids.
We can.
They like it on TikTok.
Hey, if you like it, then I like it.
Yeah.
And I also just love Wingstop, so any excuse to eat that.
What's your go-to flavor?
I think I don't know the exact name of it. I think it's like the Korean one.
Oh, like the Korean barbecue one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
or Korean chili or something.
I think it's KBBQ, but I don't know for sure.
Well, now I got to figure it out.
That's another thing I want to do really bad is go to a Korean barbecue place where you get to cook your food in front of you.
I love Korean barbecue.
Me too, but there's no place in Long Beach that you can do that.
No, we can go to the one in
Cerritos?
Hawaiian Gardens.
Ah, okay.
The one that me and my husband like to go to. It's
Okay,
really good.
I'm down. Yeah, I really want to go. I've been thinking about it. I've been really big on like a Asian food kick recently.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
I love Korean
Like
barbecue.
all I want to eat is like ramen and sushi and Korean barbecue.
Girl, you are speaking my language.
I know.
Still trying to find this Wingstop sauce.
Why don't you just look at their menu?
Spicy Korean Q.
Yeah, barbecue.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
my favorite. I think that's the one I like the best.
Yeah, that one. I've. Oh no, I did try that one. It's pretty good
It's really good
because it's kind of sweet and spicy.
yeah. It's definitely like I feel like you would like it because it's spice. It's one of the spicier ones. It's
Yeah.
not like a mild one.
Well, my hack. You guys ready for a good snack hack?
Tell us.
So I like it really spicy, but I love like a barbecue flavor,
Okay.
which is why I do like that one. This one's more like the Korean barbecue one is more like honey sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get their hickory barbecue and their atomic, and I fucking shake those bitches together. So the sauces get all mixed, and so it's like a really spicy barbecue.
Yeah. I think the atomic is too spicy for me.
The atomic is pretty spicy. Every time I get it, my boyfriend Andrew always goes, "I think I like the atomic. I'm gonna try one," and he just like ruins his own night.
Right.
And he's like, I forgot how hot that is. And he does the same thing when we go to Famous Dave's. I'm like, babe, the highest you can go is Devil's Spit.
Devil's Spit?
Don't go for Wilbur's Revenge. You can't
Oh.
handle it. But he wants to try one every single time because that's what I get is the Wilbur's Revenge. It's almost too spicy for me, which is saying something.
I thought it was really funny that my husband for the longest time thought Cassidy was exaggerating about how much spice she can handle. And then he watched you like actually eat something that was too spicy for him.
Yeah.
And you were totally fine. And he was
Yeah.
like, oh no, she can like handle spice.
I feel like, and that's why I hate being someone who not only can eat really spicy foods, but genuinely enjoys
Yeah.
it. It makes me feel like such a pick-me.
But you just like it.
No, I know, but it seems like it's one of those like, oh, I'm a girl and I like sports, and like I like sports too. You know what I mean? Like,
Gosh darn it.
and I'm like, how do I make sure you guys know? Like, I like sports in the way where I hate men, but I like sports. Is that okay?
Like I'm not doing the sports thing for male attention.
Or for male attention. I actually hate when they try to talk to me about sports because all they do is like quiz me to try and test if I actually like sports.
Right.
And then when I do, they're like, oh, wow, you really know your stuff. I'm like, because I knew who the coach to my favorite team is and you didn't for some reason.
Right.
That's not knowing your. That's a basic of just being a fan.
I get it.
Insane.
Anyway,
but yeah, and so I always feel like dudes always think that I'm saying that to be like, I'm not like other girls.
right.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm not like other girls. I'm way worse. Like, come on.
I know that's the thing. You're not being like, I'm just so much better and cooler.
Yeah, I'm so different. I'm really not. Being around me is difficult physically, mentally, emotionally. And I just also happen to be really good at eating spicy food
While you're watching football.
while I'm watching football.
You know, sometimes you just are.
It's funny to me because like compared to like my brother and my dad really know everything, like know every stat and whatever. So I'm like, oh, I'm behind. You know what I mean? And then when I talk to other people who think that they're fans and they literally know no stats, they don't know that they like don't know who the coaches are to teams that they like. I think that's so crazy. But that's because I come from a family of people with potentially undiagnosed autism.
Listen, that's how I felt today when I watched a video of this girl from Love Island a couple seasons ago who was going to a Jonas Brothers concert. And she goes, let's see how many Jonas Brothers songs I know before the concert tonight. barely knew any of the songs.
You were like, how dare you, poser?
I was disgusted. I was so pissed. Like, why do you get to go to this concert right now?
Because she's rich.
Yeah, and they're like in Brazil or something.
That's what's crazy to me when I see people be like, yeah, we're flying to this place to go see like Taylor Swift or somebody whose tickets are really expensive. And I'm like, not only did you have enough money to buy a ticket,
Yeah.
but to fly somewhere, get a hotel, like,
Oh,
and
the
you know
way-
the hotel prices are more expensive when somebody famous is in town.
The way I looked at every single place, I was like, could I go to Italy and see the Jonas Brothers?
To Italy, shut the fuck
Maybe.
up. Didn't they cancel their European tour
They postponed it.
indefinitely?
No, they're on it right now.
Oh, they okay.
Well, they're on it, and then Nick is like on Broadway for a month, and then they're going back on it.
Got it. Okay,
That's
I
why
just
they
remember
postponed it.
at first they like didn't release new dates and people were pissed.
Oh yeah, no, people were pissed.
Yeah.
And all of the people that bought the tickets, they were like, "Oh, don't worry, your tickets will just roll over to the new date." But
Yeah.
they were like, "Well, our plane tickets won't."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the scary thing.
Yeah.
'Cause, like my they're not my in-laws, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They traveled to go see Pink and she got like strep throat or something and had to cancel the day of. And they were like, well, now we're just here.
Pink canceled?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. You know who loves Pink? Boomers.
Your in-laws.
My mom too.
I think my mom also loves Pink.
That generation,
I
they
like
fucking
Pink.
love. I like Pink.
Yeah,
Don't get me
she's
wrong.
cool.
I have nothing against Pink, but I don't know what it is about like parents. They fucking love Pink.
You know what?
Like, go ask your parents right now if you're okay. If you are under 27, your parents don't count. If your parents are in like their late 50s, 60s, even
Yeah.
70s, go ask them how they feel about Pink, and I guarantee you, no matter what their political affiliation is, for some reason they fucking love Pink.
I think it's just because they're like, well, she's like hip and young enough that our kids liked her,
Yeah.
and she's old enough that we could like her.
And I think that she's like a badass chick in a way that's enough to be like attractive to
Yeah.
older men, but not intimidating to older women. They feel it's empowering.
well, she has the haircut that all the older ladies always got.
Yes.
You know?
Well, and she's like, she's like speaks her mind and
Yeah.
like does this, but like I can't think of one controversial thing Pink's ever said. You
Yeah,
know
I
what I
don't
mean?
think so.
Yeah. So I feel like she's like neutral enough, but she comes off as like radical.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people can project onto that. Once again, big fan of Pink. Not talking shit on Pink. I'm just trying to get into the psyche of like why particularly
Our parents
like
Pink.
55 to 75
Yeah.
fucking love Pink. Because I've never heard of a parent who doesn't like Pink.
You know what? Good for you, Pink.
Pink, you get that cash.
Yeah, girl.
You get all that money they're hoarding from us millennials.
Yeah, exactly. We gotta go see Pink.
Yeah, they gotta go see Pink. I don't know.
Sorry, can't give you the money.
Like, has she come out with any new music? I can't even. I
The
don't
whole
know.
time you were talking about her, I was trying to think of a name of her songs, and I can't think of them. Like, they're really famous.
She has a song with Nate Roos, was the lead singer of The Format.
Yeah.
I love that.
How does
Just
it go?
Give me a reason, just a
That one,
little
yeah.
bit. I mean, she's got a killer voice.
What is like the anthem one? Like, she has like an anthem.
I don't want to be a stupid girl.
Oh, that's old school Pink.
But that's what I remember Pink
yeah,
as.
that's old school Pink.
But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know her new music.
I'm so bad at like remembering things like at the drop of a hat.
Well, how about
Yeah.
we invite some people who pay way less than $200
Yeah, very much less.
to hear us chat into their heads basically 24/7.
Yeah.
So welcome to Patreon, Sam the Man.
Hello, Sam the Man.
I'm going to try to say this. Oh, welcome to, I don't know which one you prefer, so I'm going to say both. Tasha or Tatiana. You have both on your account.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I mean, it's one person's name, but I just don't know which one they prefer.
well, welcome.
Welcome to Howl,
Hello, Howl.
and welcome to Mikey Mike.
Hello, Mikey Mike.
So thank you guys so much for joining our Patreon, and I want to thank Maya and Len and Howl actually did the thing where they joined and then immediately upgraded their membership.
Oh.
We really appreciate that. You guys are the only reason we get to keep doing this podcast, and we do have some really fun stuff on Patreon right now. We have a very long bonus episode that just came out, and if you're at the $5 level, you can listen to that and everything else. And if you're at the $10 level, we're actually doing this new fun thing where we release everything as a video episode on there as well.
Yes.
So all of our bonus content now has a video attached to it, and that is available at the $10 level. So thank you guys so much. If you would like to join our Patreon, you can do that at dtkpod.com/support. And if you can't afford to join right now, we totally understand. We just love that you're here. But if you can take 5 seconds and go hit a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, wherever you listen, that makes a huge difference too.
It really does.
I know it seems silly. And also, I realized while we're doing this show, obviously, there's so many shows that I love and listen to regularly, and I never just went and hit 5 stars for them.
Really?
Like so many, because you just don't think to do it.
I do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like a reviewer. I don't know.
Well, you got to get on that.
I try.
You got to give it to get it, okay,
Well,
baby?
no, now I do. I'll even take the time to like go and write reviews for shows that I really love. But like if I'm enjoying a show, I always make sure I go and hit 5 stars, and go do that for all your other shows you like
Yeah.
too. Because it really like that pushes you in the algorithm so much. I didn't realize how important that was
It
until
really does.
until it started happening, and I was like,
Well,
oh shit.
because we have a pretty decent amount of ratings on Spotify, we are in a lot of like
Playlists.
well, if you go to
and,
if you go to, let's say you go to like your favorite podcasts like Spotify page, and you hit more like this, we're in most of those big,
yeah.
even the really big
Yeah.
podcasts.
Well, that's not to just keep shouting out Maya, but we do love Maya. That's how Maya found us.
Oh,
was
really?
They were listening to My Favorite Murder, and at the bottom it was like more like this, and it was us.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining our Patreon. We totally dig you, and just thank you so much. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to shout out some birthdays.
Oh, perfect.
So I have actually quite a few. What season are we in? Sagittarius?
I thought it was Cancer.
Cancer. It's
Cancer,
Cancer. Why did I
yeah.
say Sagittarius?
I think I don't know when
I think
Sagittarius
Sagittarius is December.
I know Capricorn's December.
You know what? It's Cancer.
We're in Cancer
We're in
season.
Cancer, coming into Leo soon, very
Yes.
soon, next week. So we have a few Cancers and maybe a couple Leos too.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say happy belated birthday to one of our cool kids who's on our Patreon, Nikki.
Oh, happy birthday,
Happy
Nikki.
belated birthday. Hope you had the best day ever. Also today, as we're recording, is another one of our cool kids, Aaron's birthday.
Oh, nice.
So
happy
happy
birthday. Wow, you're
birthday.
getting I'm sending you the vibe right. Did you feel it? Did you feel the happy birthday vibe?
If you felt it like right now,
Send me a message.
send us a message. Let us know.
5:27 p.m. on Monday, the 15th.
California time.
California time. We don't know where you are.
Yeah. We also got a email
From Nicholas.
from Nicholas.
Yes.
Who this is a Leo for sure. Your birthday is July 24th. And Nicholas wanted us to give a big happy birthday shout out to Hannah.
Hannah.
So happy birthday, Hannah.
And Hannah lives in Arizona and actually
Yes.
lives in the town that my brother used to have a ranch in this town. I don't want to say it just in case.
I was going to say, don't.
But my
Air
brother
Hannah
used
out.
to have a ranch in this. Well, he was like on the outskirts of town. Technically, he was in unincorporated territory. Classic Arizona. And so I've spent quite a lot of time there and been to all the restaurants. And let me just say, you guys have a very good deep dish pizza place there that's only here and then in Arizona. So have a piece of pizza for me because I love that place.
Ooh,
Yeah.
there you go.
I think it's still open.
And then finally, a giant big 30th birthday to Steph from your BFF, Alex.
Aw.
I know.
Happy birthday,
So
Steph.
cute.
And Alex, good friend.
Yeah, good friend, Alex. So we hope all of you had amazing birthdays. And thank you for listening. And thank you for being a friend.
My birthday fucking tsunami is coming my way.
Oh, yeah.
Every person I love is a Leo, it feels like. Every single person.
Well, Kate is a Virgo.
That's true. That's true.
Just really close to my birthday.
Really close. It's
Yeah.
like, what, it's like 4 days, 6 days, 3 days? Is it that?
I'm the 23rd. She's the 26th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my boyfriend's birthday. It's your guys' birthdays. It's my friend Angelica's birthday. She's a Leo. I feel like I'm missing some, but there's so many birthdays.
Yeah.
So many.
Sorry.
Well, it's fine. It's just this is my broke season. I go very broke during Leo season.
So
and
do I.
you know what? Would the Leos have it any other way?
Absolutely not.
No, they wouldn't.
No, I would not.
Well, on that note, should we get started?
Let's get started.
Yeah.
Now every time I open this can, I'm scared.
I know. Did you see me swirling
I know.
again?
I'm like, what's in there?
And now for some reason I'm like, oh, this can feels so heavy.
Yeah. Now I'm like, is there something hitting against the side when I'm swirling it around? I don't know.
You know what? Life's short. Sometimes you have to drink the rat juice.
I would die.
I do feel like I would feel forever unclean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, what story do you have for me today?
Okay, so my story today, I'm going to be talking about Olivier Levasseur. Sorry, it's French.
Perfect.
And his treasure.
Okay.
Yes.
I love treasure.
So my sources today were Explorer's Web by Christine de Abreu, CNN.com by Richard Quest and Joe Minahane, and of course, Wikipedia.
Of course.
So Olivier was born sometime around 1690 in French.
In French.
He was born in a French accent. No, in France. And he was actually born during the 9 Years' War. So there's no official record of his birthday. That's why they're like, it could have been 1689, could have been whatever, but sometime around then.
I just love that there's a war called the 9 Years' War and there's a war called the 100 Years' War.
Then there's the 12 Years' War.
Like, you couldn't come up with something a little more original?
Listen, we just did World War I, World War II.
Yeah, I know. Like, who was the marketing person on that? I don't
the
understand.
marketing executive.
Yeah, come up with something a little better.
Like, oh, the War of 1812. Wonder when that was.
I don't know. 1812?
It's like taking an open book test. So, despite some stories that people like to tell, he actually was not born the son of a pirate. He was born the son of a pretty wealthy businessman. And because of this, he was literate, which wasn't exactly common for everybody at the time.
Mm-hmm.
He was well-spoken, he was super educated, and extremely smart. There isn't a ton known about his younger years just because at that point there was no reason. There was, first of all, war going on, and second of all, he wasn't important enough to keep records of. So we do know that at some point during the Spanish War of Succession, around 1710, so he's around 18, 19, 20 at this point, he procured a letter of marque from King Louis XIV so that he could take a private ship, and these people were called privateers, a private ship to go and fight for France.
Okay.
Because they're fighting in these territories, trying to colonize as much as they can. And all the colonizers are arguing with each other about who gets to take what island, right? So he goes out as a privateer, ends up, basically working as a marine for the state of France. And when the war ends in 1714, the King of France orders all privateers to return to France. But a lot of them were like, we kind of like what we're up to out here. And this is kind of the perfect segue for me to become a pirate.
I love it.
So this is the end, like this era that we're in right now is considered like the end of the golden age of piracy, the late 1600s, early 1700s. So he's like, fuck it. I'm like 23. I have this boat. I have people on it. We all kind of want to be pirates now. Let's fucking go. And they end up joining, instead of going home, they end up joining Benjamin Hornigold's fleet of pirates.
Pirates are cool.
Pirates are cool. Unfortunately, that is the truth.
Listen, I don't make the rules.
So Olivier, like I said, was known for being really smart and having a bit of a mouth on him. And that was actually one of his many nicknames, was the Mouth.
Oh.
And but his most defining characteristic that stood out and people knew was he had a disfigured eye. So during the war, he had been injured at some point and had a big long scar across one of his eyes.
That's cool.
And was mostly blind in that eye.
I bet he looked fucking badass.
He definitely looked badass. And at one point, he actually loses the eye completely, like loses eyesight. And he starts wearing an eye patch, which is one of the like signature pirate looks, right? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
eye patches is my signature look.
What a badass signature look. An
Wow.
eye patch? Come on.
Wow.
So because of this, he became well known really fast because people would be like, oh yeah, the guy with the fucking jagged scar down his face and an eye patch. Like, of course I remember him pillaging me. And he quickly gained rank amongst his new pirate buddies. He actually ends up taking over as like the head pirate for like a bunch of different pirate gangs just because everyone likes him. And he's like kind of funny. Like he was known to be like kind of like silly, funny,
He's
goofy
like Captain
guy.
Hook.
Yeah, and he also got the nickname, and he was mostly known as the Buzzard.
The Buzzard. He went from the mouth to the Buzzard.
He had lots of different nicknames.
Wow.
I would say the biggest two were the Mouth and the Buzzard.
Not the eye patch.
Not the eye patch, no. So, oops, I accidentally scrolled too far. What did I do? Okay.
I just poured kombucha all over myself. So
Ooh, mood.
mood.
Now a kombucha vampire is going to come and suck it out of your shirt.
Oh no, not today.
You're like, it's sweaty in there.
Yeah,
But you do not want that.
You maybe it'll have to be double teamed. Kombucha vampire and sweat vampire.
And a sweat vampire, yeah. So he ends up spending a year with Hornigold, and they have a gangbusters year. They steal so much shit. And so they end up splitting their loot and going their separate ways. And this is when Olivier begins joining different bands of roaming pirates. He joins Samuel Bellamy's crew, who's a very famous pirate. He was known as Black Sam, or the Prince of Pirates.
Oh.
And the reason he was so famous is because, first of all, he was the most wealthy pirate that ever existed.
Because he stole so much gold.
But he also is known as the kindest pirate to get raided by.
Oh.
So he was always polite and actually pretty generous. He wouldn't take everything from you when he would come steal from you. And he only stole from targets that he thought of as people who deserved to get stolen from. So he actually would joke that he was like Robin Hood because he would steal from the rich and give to the poor.
Yes, we love that.
Yeah. And so the Prince of Pirates crew named themselves Robin Hood's Men.
Cute.
Yeah. Very cute. Very wholesome. Because, you know, a lot of pirates are just like really just like shit people. They would like rape and kill and torture.
Yeah.
And so Black Sam was like, no, I'm just here to like take money from rich people because you guys kind of suck.
Yeah. For the record, when I said pirates were cool, I meant this kind of a pirate.
Yeah.
Not the other kind.
And like the concept of pirates. Like, we're not stupid. These people actually existed and did bad things. But our understanding of pirates, because we're so removed from that, it was so long ago, is like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right.
Which I love.
Like Jack Sparrow is hot.
Yes.
Okay.
Objectively. So now they're in the Indian Ocean. He like spent some time in the Caribbean area, and then now he's in the Indian Ocean, which is east of Africa, bopping around by Madagascar. Also, okay, learning about pirates has made me realize there are so many fucking islands and like island countries that I've never heard of. I was reading names of stuff like, oh, they were here and here, and I was like, I couldn't even begin to pinpoint where this is. I had to look up so many things on maps. It was crazy.
Girl, you know I don't know anything about anything.
Just so crazy.
But I do know Madagascar because of the movie.
The movie, yes. What is it called?
Madagascar.
The Penguins of Madagascar?
No, it's called Madagascar.
Oh, it's just called Madagascar?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I like to move it.
Yeah, I like to
Move it.
So he ends up going solo again and is like heading his own crew. This is when he does his most like famous heist, and also probably the one he made the most money off of, when he and his crew seized a Portuguese ship called the Nossa Senhora do Cabo, which was a treasure-bearing ship. So basically it was like bringing treasure back to Portugal from wherever the fuck they stole it from. You know what I mean?
That's the treasure.
That's like one of the things where I'm like, a lot of the boats that they were robbing were boats that were robbing things from like indigenous cultures and then trying to bring them back to Europe. So like,
it's fine. I mean, more or less, you know?
not all of them. Once again, I know that, but like, there's
like a gray area, you know?
So this was loaded up with precious gems, gold bricks, expensive silks, and all sorts of expensive, all sorts of stuff. Like I said, this was his greatest raid, and this is what he's like kind of famous for when you look at, like if you do a quick skim, this is what people will talk about. And this left them with a very substantial haul. He made a fuck ton of money.
Good for him.
And he, being the smart man he is like, you know what? The way you succeed is you know when to quit.
That's so true.
And he's like, I have all this money. I could live comfortably for the rest of my life easily with this one haul. Don't do another one. Because what always happens in every heist movie, you guys? Let's just do one more big one. Then we retire. And that's where everyone gets shot and killed.
Yes, every single time.
Why'd you have to get back in the game for one more?
Know when to quit. Quit while you're ahead. That's why that's a saying.
Knowing when to quit is the most important thing. That's like, not to change the subject a little bit, but that's like when I like hear about like multimillionaires that like go to work every day, like really rich people.
Because they want to be richer?
What the fuck are you doing? You're already so rich. You're like, your kids couldn't even spend all this money.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what do you mean you want to keep doing things? If someone gave me $2 million, I could live for the rest of my life comfortably and just be chilling.
You could, yes.
So imagine having like $150 million.
Yeah.
And being like, time to go to the office, you fucking freak.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
You're cheating on your wife. You know what I mean?
Allegedly. We're not even talking about a person.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason. I'm sorry. Think about that. Okay?
I just think you guys need to find the joy of laying down and sleeping in. It's really fun. I don't know if you've ever tried it. So at this point, he's like 30, 31, you know, basically a grandpa. And and he's like, I think I could just live the rest of my life very, very, very rich and very comfortable.
Yeah, he's retiring.
Time to retire. He literally says, I want to retire. I want to go back to France.
Great.
And at the time, the king of France was like, hey, we're going to do like this amnesty thing for pirates. If you guys like, we don't want to have to kill all of you and stuff, put you on trial. We know it's been a little wild the last couple of years after the wars and all of that. So if you agree to our terms, we'll give you amnesty. You won't be tried for piracy, and you can come back and live in France as a free person.
That's very nice.
So he sends a messenger to speak with France, and they say, like, you know, hey, you know, this super famous, he's a very famous pirate at this point, Olivier, he wants to return. The Buzzard. He wants to return to France.
The mouth.
He's out of here. Yeah, he's done. He's over it. He's ready to retire at the ripe old age of 31. And
wow, must be nice.
He's like, my knees can't take it anymore.
My knees can't take it anymore.
My inner ear is hardening, so I get motion sickness.
Me, literally me.
So, you know, he sends the messenger, and the king is like, you know what? I agree. He can come back under one condition. He has to give me like 90% of the treasure that he has.
90%? That's asking for a little too much.
And so the messenger comes back and is like, hey, great news. Good news, bad news. What do you want to hear first? And Olivier is like, hit me with the good news. What are we working with? And he's like, you can come home.
Great.
You can come home, man. You can live out your life on the French countryside. Do whatever you want. Move to Paris. I don't know.
He's like, oui.
Life is yours. You know
Can't
what I mean?
wait.
Yeah. And he's like, okay, well, what about that bad news? He's like, oh, they're going to want like 90% of your booty.
He's like, skirt.
He literally goes, they can go fuck themselves.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
I will not be participating in that part of the deal personally. And he decides that he is not going to return to France and instead decides to go hide out and buys a portion of the Seychelles Islands.
Well, I mean, what's the point of going back? Like, he wanted to retire with his loot.
Yes, exactly.
So if he has to give 90% of his loot, he's going to have to go back to the office.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't want to.
He doesn't want to. He wants to lay down. He wants to be horizontal. He wants to give his knees a break. Mm-hmm. You know, the dude's operating with one eye. His depth perception can't be great.
Although it is like the 1700s. Like, you don't have TV to watch. Like, what are you going to do all day?
You just look at the ocean.
That's fair.
They hadn't ruined their attention spans like us.
Yeah, true.
Like I'm just like itching to be done with this so I can go just look at the internet. You know what I mean?
I know. I'm like, ooh, The Bachelorette's on tonight.
I'm like, oh God, I can't wait to just scroll. You know what I mean? About things that are just going to make me sad and upset.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he buys a portion of an island in the Seychelles, which is a small island country off of the coast of East Africa. Never heard of it. Never knew it. Apparently, it's the smallest African country.
Okay.
At this time, I do believe it was colonized by France. But like even now to this day, the population of, I think it's 3 or 4 little islands, the total population is like 100,000 people.
Okay.
Yeah. So really small. And he hides out there, living his best life, kicking it around. I don't know. He's there for 6 years when he's finally captured by the French army.
Oh, they found him.
Yeah. They're like, bitch, we want that booty.
Damn.
Yeah. So
I mean, I don't blame them. It's probably a nice booty.
They capture him and they torture him, trying to get him to give up where he has his money.
So he buried his treasure.
And he will not give it up. He's like, I don't care. Cut anything you want to off. I'm not fucking telling you. I'm not giving you a goddamn red cent.
That's called sticking to your guns.
Yeah, that's a pirate's life for him.
Yes.
And of course, the French government sentences him to death. I don't know why I keep saying government like they had like a duly elected, like the king's just like off with his head. You know what I mean? So he's sentenced to death for piracy. And on the morning of July 7th, 1730, the iconic pirate, Olivier Levasseur, did his final walk from his cell to the gallows that were built specifically for him to be hanged to death for the crime of piracy.
He's a pirate, so you gotta walk the plank.
Yeah. At one point, if you don't walk the plank walks you. I'll tell you that much.
That's real.
So as he's headed to the gallows, obviously there's tons of people there to watch this go down. And he rips off a necklace that he had underneath his shirt, throws it into the crowd, and yells, "Find my treasure, the one who may understand it."
Ooh.
And then he is taken up into the gallows and hanged to death.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So that's not even like a death curse. That's like a death wish.
Yes, and wait, there's more. So on the necklace, there's there's like a piece of parchment or whatever connected to the necklace that is a 17-line cryptogram with strange symbols that were thought to lead to where his buried treasure is buried.
You know, I love that. Good job. That's fun.
And immediately people start trying to break the code, obviously. It gets like copied down all over. People are like, you know, selling it and distributing it. Like, oh, you could have the chance of a lifetime. Go find this buried treasure. But some people were like, screw it. I know where this dude used to hang out. He was all around like the Seychelles Islands and Madagascar. So I'm just going to go over there and like start fucking figuring it out.
Why not?
And they're all hunting for this treasure. The estimated value in today's money of this buried treasure is somewhere between $1 and $4 billion.
And it's not found?
We're getting there.
Oh. I was like, I'm about to skirt out of here.
So the code itself is said to be, or believed to be, a pigeon cipher, which was very commonly used by the Knights Templar and the Freemasons.
Yes.
Some people claim to have solved this cipher, but it's basically gibberish is what I kind of gathered. So I don't really know if that's a solving, or like some person said that they solved it and it like was like a protection ritual in like old English, old Frenchish. Well, so the problem is too that like as time goes on, more and more, this is obviously hundreds of years ago, words meanings change, language changes. And so there's parts of this that we're looking at today and going, oh, this looks like gibberish, but we don't know what it could have contextually meant.
Right.
You know, in what year was it? 1730. Yeah.
I remembered.
Like almost 300 years ago. I had to count on my fingers. That's
too
so
many.
embarrassing.
That's too many years.
So despite tons of people looking, there was no sign of the treasure. Nothing was found. And it kind of just like falls into legend and obscurity. But in the early 1930s, a famous French historian named Charles Burel de la Ronachère, who studied the cryptogram and authenticated that it was from the 18th century, and had like interest in cryptogram in general or whatever. He starts working on this, writes a book about it, and it becomes like a new sensation again.
Okay.
And because of this, eventually a copy of the cryptogram ends up in the hands of a man named Reginald Cruz Wilkins, who becomes obsessed with finding the treasure. He makes it his life's work.
Wait, what year did the book come out?
In like the 1930s.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is, 200 years after the fact.
Right.
And it kind of like reignites this excitement for the idea of finding this treasure.
I mean, it is exciting.
Yeah, because it's like, even just like putting the monetary value aside, I mean, it's a real life treasure hunt.
Yeah.
How can you say no to that? Like, that's so interesting.
I love that.
Yeah. So Reginald Cruz Wilkins, he gets involved. He spends his entire life searching for this. His son John said, quote, "We went through terrible hardships because of the treasure hunt. My father had two accounts, a work account and a personal account. And when the work account was starting to get really low, he was always tempted to take from the personal accounts. My mother would slap him on the wrist because you've got a family to feed."
She's right.
So basically he was spending all of his extra cash in this treasure hunt.
I mean, here's the thing.
You got to have a hobby.
Yes.
And hobbies are expensive.
And you find the treasure and you're a billionaire.
I think that is also part of it. He's like, well, it's an investment in my future. But unfortunately, he worked on it until he died. But his son John did take over his father's work.
I knew he would.
Quoting, "Before he died, I wanted to get out of Seychelles. I didn't want to do this. But afterward, when he was gone, looking through everything, I realized that someone had to take it up. I had to take it up." There are some people who believe that the whole thing is a hoax, that the cipher, the story of him ripping it off at the gallows, all of that is just legend and none of it is real.
I mean, that's possible because it would be kind of funny of him to be like, go search for my treasure.
No, I just mean that he never even threw it. Like that the whole thing is just made up.
I thought he was being tricky.
It's all fake. It's all just legend and this weird random cipher that they found, which they claim is connected to this. Like nobody can actually prove it. It all happened so long ago. So many things have changed hands and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But John and his father both believed and believe currently that there are signs on rocks and in the typography of the island of the Seychelles, or the islands of Seychelles, that prove that there is something going on and there might be something hidden. So if you want to go into the email really quick.
I do.
There's two, it's one email chain, but there's two emails in there. You can look at both of them. The first email is the cipher, so you can take a look at that and maybe explain what you see. So click on the first email. Yeah, the top one. There you go. So that's the cipher.
Oh. Okay.
If you would like to attempt to describe what you're looking at.
Oh, gosh.
And this will be on the Instagram, obviously.
It's giving, like, if I had to put words on it, maybe like either Greek or like some sort of Egyptian lettering.
It looks ancient.
Yeah, that you would find on like a cave wall.
Yes.
That's kind of what it's giving. Just like, there's like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's not, there's no letter.
It looks
there's
like
no actual letters.
It's not the alphabet that we are used to.
No.
Yeah.
It's something ancient that you would see in a cave. That's the only way I could describe it.
Or like on an alien spaceship.
Yeah. And there's even like some of the symbols are, one of them looks like a moon.
Yeah.
I don't know. How would you even begin to decipher that?
That is a great question. I don't know.
It's not an alphabet.
I mean, it is an alphabet probably, but we just don't know what the symbols mean.
It looks alien. Yeah. It does look like something an alien would write.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's like when you look at that, if you're somebody who, let's say, has only ever written, spoken, whatever, Western Western languages that use the Western alphabet, and then suddenly people say like, oh, read Japanese with like the different shapes.
I like how I said Greek. I have no idea what Greek letters look like. But I was thinking Roman numerals.
You meant like ancient Greek.
Ancient Greek.
Not like,
Yeah. And like something that you would see on the columns. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you mean.
I can't describe it, but
if you want to go look at it, it'll be on the Instagram and also on the YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. And then if you scroll down, there's like markings on certain rock formations on beaches on the main island of the Seychelles, which is Mahi Island.
Okay.
And they say that these point to clues of where the treasure is buried.
So this is like inside. Is that sand?
That's a big rock.
Oh, it's
like
a rock.
A big boulder.
Okay.
And then it looks like it's an intentional hole kind of dug out in the boulder.
Yeah, because I've never seen a hole in a rock like that.
Yeah. So there's a ton of laws about where you're allowed to dig or excavate on these islands. And so that makes it obviously more difficult. You can't just go around digging, because if you did that, you would destroy the beauty of these natural islands, right? So they have to like prove without a shadow of a doubt that there's a reason that they should be digging here before they can dig, which is making the search more difficult. But John told CNN, quote, "It's untouched. It's still there, and it's a fantastic haul. And when this whole thing comes up, it will be like, to the treasure hunting world, it will be like finding Tutankhamun in Egypt. It's the holy grail of treasure hunting."
Damn.
So, because there's also some other people that are like, it's supposed to have been there for like almost 300 years. Someone probably just already found it.
Yeah, and then they were like, I'm rich.
And just kept it to themselves. Maybe somebody even found it right when it first happened.
I mean, think about it. When you win the lottery, you're not supposed to tell anybody. So
yeah,
you got to keep that shit secret.
Yeah. But they are convinced that it has never been found. John's family. So, but the Cruz Wilkins family are not the only ones who have found clues on the island and become obsessed with this. So in 1923, a woman named Rose Savoy found carvings on a rock, like on a big boulder, of things like a dog, a snake, a horse, a turtle, a woman, a man's head, 2 interlocking hearts, and other random images. And it was on this specific beach on Mahe Island.
Okay.
And when she investigated further, she found out that the beach, which was named Belle Ombre Beach, had actually been owned by none other than Olivier himself, or La Bousse, which means the
what was his name?
Why did I forget?
I just only can remember the mouth.
The mouth, which means, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. The Buzzard. Oh my god.
The Buzzard.
So this was owned, this portion of land was literally owned by him, and she finds all this stuff and she decides that she's gonna start a little
treasure
investigation
hunt.
Yeah. And when she does, and she thinks she's like decoding all of this stuff through this investigation on the beach, they actually end up finding the remains of a female and a male body that were believed to be pirates, which is proof of pirate activity on this beach.
They found remains?
Yes.
Oh shit. She's like, that's actually not what I wanted to find.
Yeah, right? And then as they continued to search in a cave on Mahe Island, they also found guns, coins, and other pirate artifacts, which makes people believe that there should be a larger cache somewhere of buried or hidden treasure on the island.
I mean, it's definitely on the island he owned. Like, that would make sense.
Yes. And the fact that one of the reasons that I bring this up is that the Cruz Wilkins family, they believe that it hasn't been found, is it took until 1923 for them to find these things that were just like in a cave.
Yeah.
So they're like, if something was expertly hidden or buried, I don't think it would have been found yet, because all these other things would have already been found and been taken away.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because there was like gold coins and stuff that, like, if somebody was pillaging a place, would take it. They would take guns. They would take coins.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some historians believe that the treasure might not exist, or might not be hidden where people think it is, but that the story of him throwing the cipher into the crowd could be true, but it was more of like a fuck you to France, who had tortured him trying to get this information out of him, than it was an actual indication of where any of his treasure lied.
That's
which
what
is
I
what
was
you were saying.
kind of thinking. I was thinking he did it, but he was being a little trickster.
Yeah, because he was kind of, like I said, he was like a mouthy guy.
Yeah.
He had kind of like a plucky attitude, we'll say. And he was known for enjoying a little prank from time to time.
Listen, what else are you going to do in the 1700s?
And it's like, okay, you're in your late 30s. They're about to hang you to death.
Yeah.
You might as well get one more little, like, fuck you guys.
He didn't even have time to like retire and lay down.
All he wanted to do was be horizontal, and you people wouldn't let him do it.
No. You made him be vertical while he was
hanging.
Yeah,
Horrible.
that's rude. That's disrespectful.
Super rude. Uncalled for, frankly.
Yeah.
So they think that this could have really just been done to torment people, especially the people who tortured him, because I'm sure France had people working full time trying to find this loot, because it, like I said, billions of dollars worth of stuff.
Right.
But to this day, they are still searching for the treasure. Most recently, in 2021, they were searching the northern side of Mahi, where John Cruz Wilkins believes he has narrowed down some locations where he thinks the treasure could be. If the treasure is ever found, man, that would be so fucking cool.
I think we need to get in on this.
That would be like the discovery of the Titanic, like so epic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I think we need to get involved.
Did you know that there's also like $10 billion worth of jewels off of the coast of some other tiny little island, and the government is just of that country is like, no, we just don't. No, leave it there. Isn't that crazy?
I mean, why would they just leave it there?
I don't know.
Why don't they take it?
Well, for a minute in the 90s, they like allowed one group to try and recover it. I mean, it's been there for like 400 years, but they let them try to recover it and said like, okay, but we get half, basically, whatever
God,
you get.
Greedy little fucks. Why don't you go out there on your fucking boat with your fucking metal detector and you figure it out?
Your metal detector.
Stupid.
I know. I want to be a treasure hunter.
We could do it.
Rich people, you can like stop exploiting poor people's labor and just shut up and stop tweeting, first of all, and be a treasure hunter. Like, you're rich. Enjoy it. Go be a treasure hunter.
Well, I don't want them to get the treasure.
But I just mean like
the poor people need the treasure. We need the treasure.
The problem is we can't fucking be treasure hunters. It costs too much money to be treasure hunters.
Okay, what if we get a rich person to give us
fund
money?
us?
Yeah, fund us to be a treasure hunter. And then we give them
Elon, we know you're listening.
and then we say, yeah, we'll give you half, but we lie about how much we get. So then we only have to give them like a quarter.
So we commit fraud that you just admitted to on a recording?
Allegedly.
This is a comedy podcast.
What are you talking about? I didn't say anything.
Cut that, Sydney. But yeah, so I personally would love to go hunting for this. I would also just like to visit this island. It seems amazing. Apparently they did one of the best jobs like in the world mitigating COVID.
Oh.
Because it's such a small island, they knew they had to take it seriously.
Yeah.
And so anybody who would come in, they were really serious about making them isolate for 10 days before they were allowed to go interact. And they actually did a really good job protecting their country. And I think that's really great.
That is really great.
But yeah, it's the smallest country in Africa. And it's not super close. It's not like close to shore. It's like obviously further than like Catalina.
Yeah.
But it's like so little. It's so itty bitty. When you look at it on a map, you have to like zoom in so far to see it. It's crazy.
I say let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Treasure hunters. Treasure hunters.
I need to get a passport.
No, you do.
I do.
Like, what the fuck?
If all hell's gonna break loose in this country, I
You're
probably should have a passport.
31 years old.
Brother, I've never needed one.
God.
Some of us have never been financially stable enough to leave the country, okay?
I'm not. I just do it.
Well, your family paid for you to do it.
I'm a treasure hunter.
I'm a treasure hunter. Fuck you. But yeah, so that was the story of the treasure of
whatever his name is. Olivier.
the Buzzard.
Olivier.
I don't know why, like, my brain cannot think of the word buzzard.
The mouth.
The mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
What was it in French? La bouse.
La
La
bouse.
bouse. I don't know if it's bouse or bouse.
I like Bousse.
Bouse, because it sounds like bussy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my friend's last name is that.
Stop.
Yeah. Busse. When I first met him, he literally goes, I was like, how do you pronounce your last name? He's like, Bussy. And I was like, no, it's not. He's like, no, it's not.
He's like, no, it's not.
But he tricked me.
He tricked you.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little silly little guy having a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is my story.
Well, thank you so much.
I'm glad you liked it.
I did like it.
Yo ho, it's a pirate's life for me.
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me.
Aye, me hardy. What's a pirate's favorite letter?
Arr.
It be the sea.
Oh shit, I was wrong. Wow, I really didn't. I forgot.
Okay.
All right. Your turn. Goodbye, everybody.
And that's drinking the cool. Oh.
Good night. I'm done.
It's the heat. It's the heat.
It really is the heat.
It makes you crazy.
I'm a little wacky.
Look what it did.
Oh no!
It did the thing.
That's what it did when
I love these hard kombuchas, but they have the worst canning. Like their cans always are fucked. Ugh. Okay. And it's too full. It's too full in there. Sorry, you have the most janky ass.
It's okay. It's okay. You did put your entire finger in there, but it's okay.
Listen, it's not the first time.
Okay. So are you ready for my story?
Yes. Ooh. Yes, now I am. I burped.
Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to ask you a question really quick.
Ooh, lay it on me.
So as two people that went to film school,
Mm-hmm.
if I asked you who invented the first motion picture film camera, who would you say?
Oh, it's that guy who went missing.
Ah, you little smarty pants. So most people believe it was Thomas Edison.
Yes.
Right? He is the guy who invented
He's the
film
one who
camera.
says he did.
He said he did.
I've almost covered this story 1,000 times.
Great.
That's the only reason I even knew.
And then other people also believe that it was this duo of brothers, the Lumiere brothers.
Yes.
They're kind of like the most known people for this invention.
Mm-hmm.
But as my genius co-host just said,
Not that genius. I can't remember his name.
yeah, but you're smart enough to know it was not Thomas Edison.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was an actual inventor of the first ever camera to film people in motion, and his name is Louis Le Prince.
Yes.
So today we will be discussing his disappearance.
Suspicious.
Suspicious?
Yes.
That's suspicious. So my sources were an article on Strange Company, an article on silentology.com.
Oh,
I liked that.
Yeah.
BBC.com by Ian Youngs. An essay on Harper's Magazine by Nat Segnet, and Wikipedia.
Let's fucking go.
Okay, so Louis Aimé Augustin Le Prince was born on August 28th, 1841 in Metz, France. Another Frenchman.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we always do that
I
on
know.
accident.
When you said France, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
oui, oui.
Oui.
So from the time Louis was very young, he was always interested in art and photography. And luckily for him, his father was friends with a man named Jacques Daguerre, who just happened to be the guy who invented the first practical form of photography.
Okay.
So
Great name, Jacques.
Jacques. I actually dated a guy named Jacques.
I like that name, Jacques.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my first boyfriend. Shout out.
Oh.
So because his dad was friends with this guy, you know, young little Louis would regularly go to his studio and kind of learn a bunch of things about photography and all this stuff. And he really looked up to this Jacques guy.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy? Like humans just were on the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just dirt and trees and shit.
That's what I'm saying.
And then somehow we made computers.
That's what I'm saying.
It genuinely hurts my fucking brain to even think about it for too long.
In your story, the 1700s, they didn't even have anything.
No, they had boats out of wood.
Yeah.
And
in
that's it.
1841, there was photography and art. And how?
And art.
I mean, I guess art is... People be painting. Cavemen be painting, okay?
Cavemen be painting.
But like photography, that's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
That's
And like
crazy.
technology.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that is
insane.
crazy. I agree.
It seems like something that that came about in like 1950.
Yeah, but even then it's like, how?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I understand that like there's someone out there being like, what do you mean how, you fucking idiot? Yes, I am a fucking idiot. That's the point.
But don't you a little bit think how? Come on,
Yeah,
guys.
like who looked at like a piece of mineral and was like, I could make a computer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's how are you that smart?
Where does the concept even come from?
Couldn't tell you. I've never invented anything.
Well, because there's stuff that like just makes sense, like boats and like a hammer. Right? There's things that are like, that just makes sense to me, that somebody would be like, I need to hit this. I'm going to make a hammer. Or like, I really would like to be over there, but there's a bunch of water.
Right.
I could float if I sit in a big leaf or something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
no, that makes sense.
all of that, like just like, I'm like, okay, I see
The vision.
I see the vision. I see how it happened. But like, who was like looking at metal they found in the ground and was like, I wonder if I make these things all touch each other the right way, if I'll be able to call somebody else and talk to them.
That is like actually disgusting. Like that anyone can
Yeah,
be
like
smart
you
enough.
can't think about it.
No,
enough.
it's like gross.
No,
like,
I agree.
You're disgusting. For
And do you want to know
being
what's weird?
smart
It's
enough.
like I know how phones work and I understand it and like logically it all makes sense. But the thing that makes me feel sick is the first person who thought of it.
Right. Correct.
That's sickening.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think we should have stopped at the Stone Age probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
People aren't getting vaccinated now anyway. Why did we even try? We didn't deserve it.
All right. Back to little
Okay,
Louis.
sorry.
Okay.
Louis, you little genius.
Little genius over here. So as he got older, he ended up studying art in Paris, and then he went on to study chemistry and physics in Germany. So all of these things were obviously a wonderful concoction to create a camera.
Yeah, of course.
In 1866, at the age of 25, Louis moved to Leeds, England, where he got invited by one of his friends that he met in college to work for his company. His name was John Whitley. And soon, Louis started dating Whitley's sister, Lizzie.
Oh.
He was like, your sister's kind of freaking hot.
You got a fine ass sister.
You got a fine ass sister. I'm going to date her. And then the two of them were married within the next few years.
Okay, so I do have a theory. Sorry, this is like not have to do with your story, but it does have to do with I do have a theory that if like you want to date your friend's sibling, you a little bit want to date them.
As someone that dated your sibling, yeah.
Yeah, right?
That checks out.
Okay. I really do think that.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course.
I'm literally a prime example.
Yeah, you did it.
I did it.
You dated my brother.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to date me, but
yeah.
it just,
And they ship
it
us.
didn't work out. People, this is why we're being shipped.
Right.
As I speak. As I'm saying it, I'm realizing.
As I live and breathe.
I'm realizing now why so many people ship us.
Yeah, I don't know why this is even like a question.
Yeah, that's so real.
Yeah.
Well, because I always tell people that theory and people are like, no, because I've had my brother's friends, like basically every single friend of my brother ever has tried to date me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, it's because you want to date him.
Maybe.
But you're just not into dudes or you're not willing to accept that part of you. Because me and him are so similar too. That's the worst part.
The one I dated.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
So.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm not ashamed.
No, you shouldn't be. He's cool. I know because he's like me. He's like me if I was smarter and had a penis. So people respected me. Okay, sorry, continue.
Anyway, so
it's the heat.
It's the heat, guys. I'm so sorry. So when Whitley's company ended up like tanking in the next couple of years, Louis and Lizzie, who was a successful artist herself, they decided to put their passions of art and technology to good use, and they founded a school called the Leeds Technical School of Arts.
Okay, nice.
And here is when they started experimenting with fixing colored photographs onto metal and ceramic pottery.
Oh, okay, so kind of like printing.
Yes. And pretty
So
cool.
smart.
Pretty
That's
cool.
so smart and
I
so
know.
cool.
And their work was so good that they were getting like portraits commissioned of Queen Victoria and like the Prime Minister and all these people So they were doing a really good job
Yeah, I'd want one.
of me.
Of Amanda to put over my bed. I could kiss it every night before I go to sleep.
That's right. So in 1881, Louis, Lizzie, and their children moved to the United States, to New York, where Louis became a manager for a small group of French artists. So these artists were specifically working on panoramic paintings. So basically, everyone knows what a panoramic like video is. You have it on your cell phone, but back in the day, you would basically stand in the middle of a room and you would look at this painting that covered all the walls. So you would move in a circle to see the whole thing.
Have you ever been to anything like that? It's so cool.
I actually have.
Yeah.
In Ireland. They
So
had
fucking
that.
cool.
Yeah. So it looked as though, like, as you're moving in the circle, that the painting itself was like a movement. It was a story being told. So from this is when Louis was really like, oh, light bulb. I need to create a way to put multiple photographs together so it looks like it's telling a story. It's moving. So he began experimenting with this new idea of moving pictures.
Okay.
So one day he had this like glass plate and there was a few photos that he had underneath it. And it accidentally slipped through his hands. So the photos like were sliding underneath the glass. And Lizzie later recalled seeing a distinct impression of movement because it like slid by accident, but it was all the pictures in a row.
Yeah.
So it looked like it was moving.
So it's like that thing you can do with a book where you like draw the little stick guy and he moves if you flip the pages fast enough. Yeah.
So now Louis like, okay, if I can figure this out before anyone else does, I know this is going to be the biggest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, of course.
Like for sure.
Yeah.
So using all of his knowledge and his skills of what he learned throughout the years between photography, art, chemistry, and physics, Louis begins building a 16-lens camera that would essentially be able to take multiple photos of a moving object at slightly different angles and capture some kind of movement.
Okay.
The only problem is that since there were so many lenses and they were kind of too many, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the angles were too different. It ended up being pretty clunky.
Yeah,
So
it
it
would
didn't-
like fuck up it wasn't smooth.
It didn't look
Yeah.
as seamless as he wanted it to.
Yeah, because I feel like actually the thing that makes video work well is when it's all at the same angle. That's
Yeah.
why we use tripods and stuff like that.
Exactly. So this is the picture of the 16-lens camera.
Cool. Looks like a hunk of something.
It looks like a box
It
with
does.
16 lenses.
With 16
I don't
lenses on
know.
it. It looks like you could convince me that's some sort of torture device.
It
Sure.
kind of does look like a torture device. You're right. So although it wasn't exactly what he wanted, it wasn't working as well as he intended, he still applied for a U.S. patent for this 16-lens camera. But it actually ended up taking them like 2 years to get this patent because this is like the most confusing part of the story to me, the patents, because I don't really understand it. But they were being like really annoying about it, and he was really wanting to make sure that he was protecting his invention because he knew that there were other people out there that were starting to think about
Have
creating
the same idea.
thing.
Yeah.
And he was terrified of people stealing his idea and everything he worked so hard to make. So he was like, I need to get these patented. Like every single thing I'm doing, I need to get patented. But they're like just being really annoying about it. And it took so long to get.
To get a patent, you have to prove that something is significantly different to the point where you would need protection, that people would try to steal it from you.
Exactly.
And so it does take a process. But the reason people apply for a patent is, let's say I come up with this idea of something that can open the can for you when you have long nails, right?
Right.
I always have to open Amanda's can. I have this idea. Oh, I can do this thing. Actually, I already know that this thing exists. I almost bought you one the other day. Whatever. I have this idea. I do it, and I think, oh my God, this is so simple. How did nobody think about it? I apply for a patent on it, and it might take a year or two or whatever to do it. But let's say 3 days after I applied for the patent, somebody else applied for the same patent because they have the same idea, totally even separate from me.
Yeah.
But I would get the patent because I applied first.
Right.
I believe is how it works.
Yeah. It does get a little more confusing, and I'll discuss it later.
The legality of owning is so confusing.
Yeah, it's really confusing.
Because also your patent expires and then it becomes free use. And
it also is like very, very specific. Like you have to make sure the wording is really like specific. And if it's not, then they like don't approve it. It's very, very confusing. At least in 1800s, it was this confusing. I'm sure it still is. So because of the fact that Louis was so worried about spies like checking out his invention and stealing it, in 1887, he heads back to Leeds and he leaves his wife and children in New York. So he starts hiding out in like a very secure workshop.
Okay.
He has 2 friends or assistants with him that are helping him. And he starts working on a single lens camera.
Okay.
And he also needs to figure out a way to project these images so that people can view them.
Yeah, view them in succession.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because even this, like, I understand, like, this makes technical sense to me.
But you don't know how he could
No, like, I even
it.
understand that of, like, okay, you take a bunch of pictures while you're moving and then, like, the flip book idea. But then I think about, like, how, like, an iPhone camera works. And I'm like, I want to jump off a building.
Right.
We shouldn't have done it.
Well, isn't it crazy how, like, this started
yes.
that?
And it makes everything hurt.
Yeah.
It makes my whole body hurt.
Like the fact that we have video on YouTube right now.
Yeah, like that, like this
started that.
sickening. This should not be allowed.
Right. Sick.
The fact that you can even hear me right now is so gross.
Literally sick.
Okay, sorry. I love you all, but gross. You shouldn't be allowed to do this.
So after a short amount of time, because like I said, Louis is a freaking smarty pants, he was able to figure this out. So on October 14th, 1888, Louis brings his new invention, a giant 40-pound mahogany box, to his father-in-law's home on the outskirts of Leeds. He starts cranking the brass handle on the side of the box, and he films his 2 in-laws, his son Adolf, and a family friend, Annie Hartley, as they're just walking around in circles in the backyard.
Yes.
And this becomes the first ever motion picture film.
Yes.
So I have the picture of the camera. This is the camera.
Ooh.
Just a giant refrigerator looking box.
It does look like a mini fridge.
It really does.
It's cute too.
It is cute. And then I have the video. This is the very first motion picture ever, and it's going to be on the YouTube and on Instagram and Facebook.
It's giving sinister.
It really looks like Sinister. You're right. It's literally so quick. It's like 6 seconds, not even probably.
And it probably took them for fucking ever to do this.
And it's just people walking in circles in the backyard.
Okay. You're back then.
Okay.
And you are told, we are going to make the first ever moving picture. It's only going to be like 6 seconds long. Do something. What do you do?
Like how long do I have to think about this?
Well, I just mean like all of them clearly, like one guy walked in a circle, one person kind of like kicked their feet around.
Yeah.
Like the kids were kind of just like wiggling.
My initial reaction, Irish jig.
Irish jig.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just my initial, or like not even Irish jig, but like, you know, like the berries and cream.
Yeah. Yes.
Like that. That's my initial thought.
I just feel like that it's the equivalent of being like, okay, now a silly one. You know what I mean?
Yes. When everyone sticks their tongue out and
Yeah,
puts the peace sign up.
But it's like it's the most important piece of media that's ever existed.
It really is, yeah.
Okay, now a silly one. And he just walks in a circle like, oh, fuck, Jesus. God damn it.
Like, what do I do? I don't know.
Like, thank God I wasn't there. My dumb ass would have like flashed the camera or something.
That would have went down in history. Okay, but the fact that we have this fucking film, that we can
insane.
see it
Yeah.
to this day
Yeah.
is insane.
It is insane.
And
you sent it through an email. It's on YouTube. All the fucking
literally
shit
crazy.
Makes my head want to blow up.
so I don't even know how we still have it, to be honest. But we do know the exact date of this film. And we know this because Louis' mother-in-law, that is literally pictured in the silent film, you can literally see her, passed away 10 days later. And that is on record.
Can you imagine?
I know.
Oh my God.
I know. But honestly,
But so that's how we know
her
exactly.
death is the only reason why we know when this was done.
Yeah.
So it kind of, I mean, rest in peace, but it kind of worked out.
I just mean, can you imagine like, oh, thank God, like they got a video of her moving. I don't know. It's
I
sweet.
know, it is
It's really
sweet.
sweet,
It is
actually.
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, my hair is getting bigger by the second.
That's fine. It's okay. They
just
don't
caught
care.
a glimpse of myself and was like, oh no.
They don't care. They like it.
It's getting so big. Okay.
The higher the hair, the closer to God.
It's not getting higher. It's just getting wider. That's the problem.
The closer to me.
Yeah.
So now Louis officially has a working film camera, which is super exciting.
So crazy.
But he still needs to figure out how to show these people the films, like projected, obviously. And he also needs to find a better material than this like thin paper that he's currently working with.
Okay.
Because he needs to be able to show this to people multiple times over and over again. And the thin paper is just going to like
wear out
eventually. So in 1889, he began using celluloid. So he was able to use this for projection, and it was also a more durable material.
Okay.
Which actually, they don't use it anymore because it's really flammable, but this is what they used for a very long time.
That's why it's illegal to yell fire in a movie theater.
Oh, really?
Because there used to be, it's like saying bomb on an airplane.
Yeah.
Because it used to be so common that it would catch on fire because it was so flammable. Yeah, like during the silent pictures time.
Yeah. So this is
I don't
illegal.
know if it's actually still illegal, but
no, this is illegal. This
to use it?
celluloid is illegal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just meant I don't know if it's actually legal to yell fire.
I'm sure it is. Seems like it would be.
Someone just told me that once and was like, yeah, because it will create an undue panic or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Undue panic. Big words are happening here. Undue and panic are both really little words. I'm realizing as I say that. It's the heat.
It's the heat. What do you want from us?
It's the rat cans.
God, I'm drinking a rat right now. Leave me alone. So the entire time that this man is in Leeds working on this, he's continuously writing letters to his wife, like letting her know what's going on, what's up. They don't have phones. Crazy concept to think about. And at this point, Lizzie knows that he has a working motion picture camera.
Okay.
So she's aware. So he applied for patents for his single lens camera in England and France. But once again, this took a lot of time, a lot of jumping through hoops. Like I said, you have to really be specific about your wording, and he had to change a lot of different words to be able to get it done. But he was eventually granted the patents, but they were not thorough enough to actually legally claim him as the inventor of a single lens camera that actually worked. Because nobody knows, the only people that know it works is his family that he videotaped.
So he basically patented like the concept of it.
Yes.
But not the actual technology of it.
Correct.
Okay.
So he would have to show the world basically that he has a working camera that also like has the projection so everyone can see it in order for him to get that proper patent that he needs to become the inventor of this.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, it was really confusing when I was trying to like write it down.
It just sounds like a lot of semantics of like kind of bullshit hoops you have to jump through, which like I get, that's how government works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So by the middle of 1890, Louis writes to Lizzie that he's coming back to New York in September and he's going to finally publicly demonstrate his moving pictures for everyone to see.
Okay.
So he's like, it's my time to shine.
Yeah.
Get everyone ready. Tell all the fucking people you know. And she's like, absolutely, I got this. So she starts setting things up for him. She's inviting a bunch of people to come witness this unveiling of Louis' motion picture camera.
Yeah, of course.
It's just like a really exciting moment. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
So come September, Louis is now preparing to go back to New York to showcase this camera. But before he heads to New York, he's like, you know what? I'm in Leeds. There's something I've been meaning to do for the last couple of years that I might as well just do it before I head back to the States. And he's like, I got to go visit my brother Albert in Dijon, France.
Okay.
So
home of the mustard.
Home of the mustard. So a few years earlier, their mother died and left them a bunch of stuff and money in her will.
Okay.
And because Louis was so busy working on this camera, he hadn't had any time to like go meet with his brother and sort everything out for the will. So he was like, you know what? I'll just get this done real quick and then I'll head back on the train a few days later.
Okay.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah. 2 birds, 1 stone.
Louis left all of the film and like camera equipment in the workshop in Leeds, and he headed to Dijon with only a suitcase that contained some very important papers for his patents.
Okay.
So he had planned to meet up with his friends at the Paris train station on September 16th. So he left for Dijon on the 13th, and he was like, I'll be there for 3 days, and then we'll meet up back at the Paris station on September 16th, and we'll all head on the boat to New York.
Right.
They're like, cool. But on September 16th, when the train arrived at the Paris station, Louis never got off to meet his friends. So at first they're like, you know what? Maybe he just got tied up with some business stuff and he's going to get back on the boat a little bit later. We're just going to get on this boat. He'll come on the next boat. No big deal.
Yeah.
Because once again,
no phones.
There's no phones. You can't just fucking call or text somebody like, I'm going to be late.
I know there's so many stories that we talk about, even before cell phones, like when there were regular phones, of people like not reporting people missing for like days sometimes because it's like, oh, maybe we just missed them.
Yeah. But you literally like, if you're traveling and then you go on a boat, it could be months before you get a telegram or a letter or whatever it is, you know?
Yeah.
So you never know. As I often say in these types of stories, he was never seen or heard from again.
Yeah.
So the last time that Louis was seen was by his brother Albert getting onto the train heading for Paris. But the French police and the Scotland Yard in London, as well as Louis's friends and family members, they did an extensive search for Louis and for his belongings, for his suitcases or whatever. They asked a bunch of people that were on the train or at the station or either station that day if they had seen Louis, and not a single person had.
Yeah.
And they had photos at this point, so they showed photos of him.
Yeah.
No one saw him. He was a noticeable looking character. He was 6'4",
which is incredibly tall for the
very
time.
tall, and he had a big mustache and a big like beard and stuff.
I was gonna say my boyfriend is 6'5".
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, you cannot miss him.
It would be definitely. I feel like if there's a 6'4", 6'5" person walking around, like it's something that you clock.
Well, and also people come up to him all the I know people notice for a fact because people come up to us all the time and go, "How tall are you? How tall are you?"
Yeah. Like it's something you
Yeah.
notice. It's definitely
Yeah.
something you pay attention to.
Yes, it is.
And nobody remembered seeing this guy at all at either train station or on the train that day.
Okay.
So what happened to Louis Le Prince? Let's go through some theories and let's speculate wildly.
That's my favorite thing to do.
I know.
I love to speculate wildly. It's
been a while.
Especially about something that's old, because then I don't think anybody's going to sue me, allegedly, I don't think.
It's pretty old.
Listen, if somebody sues me over this, I deserve it, I guess.
Yeah.
Ow, fuck.
You
Sorry.
okay there, Sparky?
It's so hot, but I need my...
I know. I was going to say, why do you have your blanket?
Because I need it. It gives me
It comforts you?
comfort.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. I'm really fidgety.
I know. And you're always playing with it.
Yeah, and so this blanket has all these weird little strings on it. I like to pull them and move them around.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad
It's either that or like touch my face all the time.
Yeah, it's better if you play with the blanket.
Yes, because it used to not matter that I touched my face all the time, but now we do video, and so I can't just be like have my hand on my face or in my hair the entire episode.
True.
So I have to do my weird security blanket thing.
That's fine. I support you. All right. So the first theory is that Louis completed suicide.
Okay.
So Louis had spent a lot of time and money trying to create his inventions throughout the years. And apparently he borrowed a lot of money and he took out a lot of loans that he couldn't pay back. So people think that's why he originally moved his whole family to the US, because he was trying to hide from the banks in Leeds.
Smart. That's what I would do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I would love to flee the country.
You gotta flee.
Sometimes you gotta flee, you guys.
Yeah, especially when you owe the banks money. Are you kidding?
Yeah, you gotta flee. You gotta flee those banks.
Yeah. However, he did go back to Leeds for a few years, and the second he demonstrated his invention to the world, he would have become super, super rich. So
yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Like, he knew he was sitting on a gold mine.
Yeah, so it literally makes no sense for him to kill himself right before he's about to become extremely wealthy.
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah.
One of the most iconic inventions of all time, basically.
Right.
And he clearly knew the importance of what he was doing.
Exactly. So a little second theory to this theory. People do suspect that maybe he was never actually able to like figure out how to project the film. So when he was writing to his wife, he was actually lying to her, being like, you know, it's working. I got everything perfect. I'm going to come back in September and debut this thing. But he was just lying to her, and he actually hadn't had it figured out, the projection yet. Because we know it worked because we have the video.
Yeah, but I'm just like, the projection seems
minuscule.
Yes, in comparison.
I agree. So the only people that had seen it were his own family members, like just the people that were in the video at this point. So his wife had never seen it. So it's just what he was telling her in the...
Okay, but they had seen the video. How had they seen it?
I think through the little lens. I don't think it was a projection.
Got it. Okay, that's what I mean. It's like, I just didn't know how they saw it. But I'm like, that, I'm sorry, even if you're like, hey man,
minuscule.
I haven't figured out how to project it yet, but look at this shit. Everybody line up, come take a little gander.
Right.
That still feels very significant. And don't get me wrong, I understand that people will lie and build stuff up. And I mean, that's kind of like the story you told about the guy on the boat who was going to circumvent the world.
Yes.
And then he most likely took his own life
because he lied about it.
He had lied about doing it. I get that because I mean, not to that extent, but there's been times where I've dug myself in the hole.
Everyone does.
Yeah. I'm like halfway through that thing you sent me and I'm like, fuck shit.
Everyone does it.
Like procrastinate or like I really haven't figured it out. Like I get it and I understand that feeling of dread. But he had something very tangible to show.
Yeah. So that's why I don't fully buy this at all, obviously.
Yeah. And there always is there's always an opportunity that is the answer when people go missing or whatever, that they took their own lives because people are unpredictable. Yes. They have things that we don't understand, whatever. But I would say, especially in this case, I would say probably not.
Yeah, I agree.
Why even go to get your mother's stuff and do all that if you...
That's what it feels. It feels weird. Like, why did you do all those things? I don't know. But people are just like, yeah, he, completed suicide because he didn't have anything to actually show for what he was saying he had. And he wouldn't become rich, and therefore he would stay in these financial troubles, and he would also be humiliated, and just like all this stuff.
I get that. I understand that, and I am like, yes, that makes sense. But then when you actually look at like the details of what he had done, he did the hard part already.
Correct.
The projection to me seems like a bonus Jonas situation here.
Bonus Jonas.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we already got the meat and potatoes. Yeah. Let me add the salt.
Right. And if anything, he could literally like take his invention to somebody who could help him do the projection.
Yeah.
And someone else could figure it out, and then he could just like split the invention.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree. That one's kind of like just something people say.
I understand it, and I will give it a 10% chance that is what happened. I'm not going to say there's no way, but I will say I'll give it a 10% chance. Right.
So the next theory is that his brother Albert might have had something to do with the disappearance. So like I said earlier, their mother had died a few years prior and left the brothers a bunch of money and stuff in her will. Apparently, Albert had all of the money and the things that were left in his possession.
Okay.
So like I said, Louis was a little busy inventing the fucking film camera.
Yeah, inventing video.
Yeah, literally video. That he had no time to go visit Albert and collect his portion of the will.
Okay.
So allegedly, when Louis got to Dijon, Albert didn't want to see him and was literally trying to dodge him for the full 3 days that he was there.
But he only went to Dijon to see him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But every time he would like try to get in touch with him or call him, Albert was like dodging him. Like, I'm busy, can't do this, can't do that.
This is on record, or this is...
This is just what people say.
Okay.
It is not on record.
Okay. There's no like...
No. There's no tangible evidence
he was trying to do this and he told his wife, my brother won't talk to me. Okay.
No tangible evidence.
Okay.
So Albert... This is also alleged, obviously. Albert didn't think Louis should get the money from the will because he claimed that the mom had given way more to Louis while she was alive than he had given to Albert.
Okay.
So he was like, you had more than me our whole lives growing up. I get this that she left in the will, basically.
Classic sibling rivalry when it comes to wills.
And he was also the last person to ever see Louis alive. And he claimed that he watched his brother walk onto the train.
But nobody at the train station saw him.
Right.
Okay.
So that is a little suspicious.
But I will say, we know eyewitness accounts are the least reliable thing in the world.
Yeah, but it's his own brother, and
No,
you
no, no,
watched him get on the train.
Not the brother.
Oh, the other people.
And other people. Like,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
we would say, like, he's really tall. People should have noticed. But also,
you're doing your own thing.
And how many people actually talked to him?
Mm-hmm.
People were reading the newspaper. They're fucking
Right.
checking out the chick in the, showing her ankles or whatever they showed back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you got some other stuff going on.
No, absolutely. I agree.
And we don't know how many people they actually talked to who were on the train. Maybe they talked to people who were on the other side of the car from him. And so they didn't see him. Or maybe he sat down right away so people don't realize how tall he was. So,
Part of this theory is also that maybe Albert killed his brother and then created the suicide rumor to cover it up, and then people kind of ran with that.
Yeah, okay.
So, however, Albert was known to be part of this extensive search party to look for his brother. And Louis was known to be very close to his entire family. Nobody in the family claimed that there was any animosity in the brothers' relationship. And also for the suicide rumors and theories, everyone in his family, everyone that knew him said there's just no way he would do that. He loved his kids and his family and wife so much that they just can't believe he would have ever done that.
Yeah, especially without a note, because here's the thing. When people are like, well, people who love their kids and that doesn't make them not be suicidal. Those are the type of people who leave a note so they don't think that their kids don't think they just got abandoned.
Right.
I mean, I would think.
Yeah, what we would
I'm
assume.
not a fucking psychologist.
Correct.
I don't know.
Because I'm sure not everybody does, but.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one is definitely more like a speculation because literally everyone in the family was like, I don't think that there was anything going on between the brothers. I don't think they were ever like actually fighting.
That one to me seems even less likely than the suicide.
My only thing is that he said he watched his brother get on the train. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
For me. That's kind of weird.
But he might have gotten on the train.
He might have. I don't know.
And also think about you're outside of a bar.
Mm-hmm.
Your friend gets in an Uber. You see her open the door to the Uber, and then you turn to go back in the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched her get in the Uber, and I watched it drive off. No, you didn't.
Right.
But your brain filled it in for you.
No, that's true.
Like, that kind of shit does happen.
Yeah, that's true.
You know? Like, once again, eyewitnesses are the least reliable people.
Yeah.
Because our brains fill in the gaps.
Yeah, and
a lot of the time.
I feel like our brains can definitely like make up a scenario that happened.
And what happens a lot of the time is people ask you a question and you don't know the answer, and then your brain starts going, well, I want to know the answer, and it starts to fill in, and then you're like, no, I'm 100% sure that it was this, and this.
Yeah.
And I know because I do it all the time, where I'm like, no, I like distinctly remember that it was this, and this, and then somebody proves me wrong, and I'm like, holy shit, I just tricked myself into thinking that. Like, that's crazy.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I mean, that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you ready for the main theory?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is my favorite theory.
This is the best theory.
This is my favorite theory.
This is the best theory. And this is actually the theory that Lizzie LaPrince herself believes is what actually happened to her husband. Like, she was very convinced. So, this theory puts forth that Louis was actually kidnapped and killed by one of his competitors for the motion picture camera, namely Thomas Edison.
Dun, dun,
Dun! So, our dear friend Tommy Boy, he was known for stealing people's ideas very often.
Yes, he was. And that is a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. I don't know why people are so protective of Thomas Edison, but they get pissed off when you tell them this.
Well, I don't know how they could once they hear this little quote that he said in an interview with the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. He literally said, and I quote, "I never had an idea in my life. I've got no imagination. I never dream. My so-called inventions already existed in the environment. I took them out. I've created nothing. Nobody does. There's no such thing as an idea being brain-born. Everything comes from the outside."
He's just Elon Musk from back then.
He literally said that. He said that.
Well, I mean, I think what he's trying to say there is like, oh, everything already exists. Like, electricity already exists. That's what he's trying to say.
Okay, but he stole, from what I was reading.
No, he's a fucking,
allegedly.
What do you think? Thomas Edison's going to go rise
Just-
from the
I'm just
dead?
saying.
I mean, I guess I don't
He
know. Maybe
might.
he has an estate that's like very litigious.
He also could rise from the dead and haunt me, and
That's
I don't want
true.
that.
We don't know,
okay?
man. I heard about those vampires in fucking
I do
New
not
Orleans.
want that.
No,
But
I say, in my opinion, that's Elon Musk today.
it really is.
He just pays to like steal people's ideas.
Yeah.
Allegedly, in my
Allegedly,
opinion.
in my opinion. Yeah, no, like, come on. And everything I was reading when I was researching this story was like, he was a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, he was just known to steal and to hire muscle to like intimidate people.
Yeah.
Like, he was not a good person.
He had like henchmen who would
Yeah.
be like, "Give me the formioli,"
Literally,
Yeah.
exactly.
and they'd be like, "Oh, okay, Thomas."
Yeah, because your henchmen are scary. Your goons are
Scared
scary.
as shit of
Your
you.
goons are going wild.
Yeah, goons gone wild.
Goons gone
As we
wild.
know, it happens.
Yes.
If you don't have a couple goons,
And Thomas Edison did. Okay.
he did. And I just want to say, like, if you have goons, like inherently, you're probably up to no good.
Absolutely.
You're up to nefarious
You
activities.
are.
But if you have no goons, also a little
Oh,
embarrassing.
yeah, you're embarrassing.
You gotta have a good goon ratio going on.
I mean, if you're Thomas Edison, you definitely have to have
Yeah,
some.
a good goon to good ratio.
If you're gonna like steal people's ideas, like you gotta have a goon.
you gotta have a goon or
or
two.
at least two.
A dozen would be the most appropriate number.
So 8 months after Louis disappeared, literally right before he was going to show his invention to the world, Thomas Edison unveiled his kintograph, which showed pure motion recorded for the first time. And a few years after he invented this kintograph, he invented the kintroscope, which was the machine that projected these moving images onto a screen.
Got it.
So immediately after Edison drops the kintograph onto the world, Lizzie's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, like that's my husband's shit.
She's like, "Are you joking my ass?" That's literally what Louis invented.
Yeah.
And that's when she became convinced that Thomas Edison was behind her husband's strange disappearance.
I support her.
I absolutely support her. She's a queen.
Loyal queen.
Loyal queen. We love you.
Love you.
So like I said earlier, Louis, pretty much from the time he started working on this, which was years before Thomas Edison even had the fucking idea in his head, okay? He was afraid of someone stealing his idea or stealing his invention. So he had been like contacting these patent lawyers named Clarence Seward and William Guthrie.
Okay.
And he had been working with them for years. So after he disappears, Lizzie decides to go to them and like see these guys and try to figure out, you know, if she can maybe get the patents done for her missing husband now because she
Yeah.
wants to protect his project. Like this is the last thing she wants to give to him, basically.
Yeah, and he had the paperwork in his suitcase when he was
Yeah. So all that
disappeared.
paperwork is also missing, by the way. That's when Lizzie discovered that by the time Louis went missing, Clarence Seward and William Guthrie were now working for Thomas Edison. They were even defending him at this point on a case. We don't know what the case was. I'm assuming someone was suing him for stealing
Probably
their
'cause
idea.
stole shit. Thomas Edison's
Yeah.
a big fucking fraud, brother.
He's a fucking fraud.
That's right, Edison Electric. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. They're going to shut my lights off right
Yeah.
now. Literally
Imagine
all
it
my
goes
lights
dark.
go down.
Boom.
Can you imagine?
Listen, I'm a huge fan of your campsites, okay? Like, please, I'm sorry. I take it back. I'm
This
so
is
sorry.
a legend. I'm
This
so
is a legend.
sorry.
I'm so sorry. Please let me go back to Shaver Lake. I try to check in and they're like, "Liston, huh?
They're like, huh, we know you, bitch.
Heard you had a few ideas about who invented the motion picture." The goons come out of the forest. I'm like, "Oh no!"
I bet you don't think he invented electricity either.
Yeah,
Huh.
I'm like, nobody invented electricity. It's a natural occurring state.
Oh my god.
The henchmen just come out of the leaves right now.
No, like literally, like they would though. Like that, I'm scared.
They would. I'm a little scared.
So Lizzie also found out that during this time, in order for her to take any sort of like legal action against these people, her husband had to legally be pronounced dead. And that took 7 years of being
Yeah.
missing for that to happen.
They make you be gone for a long time usually.
Yeah. So once again, I'll reiterate, I do not understand fully the patent laws that were going down at this time.
Listen, we're not lawyers.
We're not lawyers.
We're a comedy podcast.
We have some lawyers that are listeners, though.
I have some lawyers on staff, so please don't sue me. But.
Don't sue me, but if you do want to have input, please. But in 1890, so 2 years after the first short film was taken on Louis' camera, which we literally have video proof of, people, okay? It's real.
We watched it.
We watched it, and you watched it. Edison filed a caveat in his patent that stated that he basically just needed to have a vague idea of what he was going to invent, and he could still get the patent for it before it was even created, and then he could just finish it later on and then be like, boom, I invented this, but I already have the patent to it.
Okay, yes, because I've heard of you can have like a design that's not a functioning thing that you can patent.
Yeah,
the
like
idea
super
of
vague.
It.
Like he could just like draw a picture of like an idea and be like
what he's planning on doing.
Yeah, but not have anything at all tangible.
Yes,
and that's what he did. And because he was already like rich and famous, they were like, yeah, sure, you can do this.
Yeah, I mean that's like when you watch TV and like it's some weird contraption that they invented, and they're like patent pending.
Yeah,
it's because literally it takes longer to get the patent than it does to come up with the thing, produce it, make a commercial, all that. Like the patent process does take time.
And then he was like, oh, also in my little caveat that I have, anyone that files for a patent for something similar, I have to be notified.
Yes, that is. I mean, I think it's still like that.
So they did that. He did that. And then he was like, after that happens, he has like a couple months to basically create this thing. And then if he creates it and puts it out to the world in that time frame, it's his.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Great. I love when I make sense.
You do make sense.
So now I don't know if Lizzie was just like super paranoid like her husband was, thinking that a bunch of people were coming after him. And
I mean, her husband went missing. I'd be paranoid too.
No,
brother.
absolutely. Yeah. I don't disagree with her. But she claimed that while she was waiting for her husband's return to New York, like before she even knew he was missing, she received a visit from a man named Mr. Rose.
Okay.
Who knocked on their door one day and was very like anxiously being like, I need to see your husband. I need to see Louis right now.
Okay.
And she was like, well, he's not here right now. And then he left really aggravated and angry.
Okay.
And then a few days later, she gets a little nickety knock on the door, and it's the milkman.
Okay.
And she was like, oh, no, we don't need any milk. And then the milkman is like standing on her steps, staring at her, like won't leave.
Yeah.
And she realizes it's Mr. Rose.
It's the same guy.
Yeah. And then when she's like, I know who you are, he's like, where's Louis? I need to speak to him right now.
Oh, so he was trying to do a little bait and switch undercover action.
This is just alleged. This is what Lizzie said happened. I don't know.
You get sued by the milkman service.
I don't want to get sued by the milkman, okay?
She loves milk.
I do. I really do. But no one was ever able to identify this man, and no one has any idea why he was there to see Louis.
Okay.
So that like never really
there's
came
just
up
like
again.
weird shit going down.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Men in Black, right?
Yes.
Like when you're like, oh, I received a visit from this man that was in a black suit. I don't know why. I don't know what was going on.
Wouldn't really identify why he was there. Wouldn't tell me what agency he worked with.
Right.
Okay.
Also, once Louis was able to be legally declared dead, like years later, obviously, Louis' son Adolphe had testified in a lawsuit.
Unfortunate name.
A very unfortunate name. But he testified in a lawsuit against Edison, basically to invalidate his patent and give it to his father. Because at this point, he already had the patent. Because he created it. It's been years now.
Yes.
Like, he was the guy. So the case was ultimately ruled in favor of Edison. But Adolphe did not stop like trying to fight for his father's legacy. Lizzie also continued to fight for the rights, to this.
Yeah, hadam.
And suspiciously, 2 years later, Adolphe Le Prince was found dead after going hunting on a trip in Fire Island.
Okay.
Weird, right?
Like, of course. I mean, it just, those in power stay in power through force. That's all I'll say.
I'm not saying that Thomas Edison would murder someone in order to steal their invention and take the credit for inventing this brand new thing that could literally change the world.
I am, though. Sorry.
But I'm not saying that he wouldn't, you know, because I didn't know him.
Personally.
So it's possible that he did do that.
We didn't know if he brought wretched vibes or really good vibes.
Exactly.
And we'd be shocked that he was a murderer.
Exactly.
Because he's like a really good skateboarder or whatever.
Literally. Exactly that. So what do you think happened?
Oh, I absolutely think he was taken out. In my opinion,
By
that is
Thomas
exactly
Edison?
what happened.
By
His
the
goons, at least.
The goons, yeah, I knew it was the goons.
A handful of goons, maybe one or two very good henchmen. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the formula for taking a man out.
I don't either.
I think he got on that train and never got off it.
That's exactly what happened.
I've seen fucking that movie with
Bullet Train.
Bullet Train. That's such a good movie. Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay, I'm glad you finally watched it. I knew you'd like it.
I had to. Aaron Taylor Johnson. Are you
Yeah,
kidding?
I knew you'd love it. It's so good.
But yeah, that is the disappearance of Louis Le Prince, who is the original creator of the motion picture film camera.
Put some respect on his name.
Put respect on his name.
Also, I encourage you all to just look into any source other than your high school fucking textbook about Edison. That guy fucking sucked.
It is crazy. It is really, really, really crazy that in high school you learn like he was the inventor of all these amazing things. And it took me 2 seconds into my research and everyone was like, Thomas Edison was a big fucking piece of shit. And I was like, oh shit.
Once again, to make it relevant for people, it's like when people are like, oh, Elon Musk started PayPal and started Tesla. And so he didn't. He was rich because his dad owned a fucking mine, a fucking apartheid mine in South Africa. And then he bought his way into seeming like he was the creator of these things. It's just rich people taking advantage of people all over again. And in my opinion, that is why I fucking hate Elon Musk personally. Eat the rich. Fucking video it on your it on your phone. That makes no sense because we're too stupid to understand why it works, but it does work, okay?
But literally, if you could take away anything from this, like, know who the real person. Like, I just think it's really cool to be able to know the truth.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when we talked about who actually came up with the that Christmas poem,
right?
And it's like, of course, who was it again? A rich fucking white guy was like, I'm gonna yoink this from the working class dude who would read it to his kids. You know, you have to remember when you look into history, you have to remember who writes the narrative.
Right.
And like we're seeing that right now in like real time. So I think it's like even more pertinent to like remember who your sources are. Remember why would somebody say this? And then also find the people and the things and the that you can trust and you know will be objective, or at least as you know, nobody can be objective 100%.
Right.
It's impossible. But like it is really important to look at more than one source.
Yes.
When you're looking into something, whether it be from 200 years ago or 20 minutes ago. Give it a minute.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like maybe and also maybe like have like one critical thought. Your goal, your homework.
Listen, I didn't have a critical thought until we started this podcast, to be fair.
I was going to say your homework.
To be fair.
Dear listener, your homework for this week is to have at least one critical thought a day. Just one.
Well, they will.
Just
after
one.
Listening to this.
I'm not trying to get crazy. Just one critical thought a day. That's all I'm asking. But thank you for sharing that. It's a really interesting one. And I think it's going to be mind-blowing for a lot of people who have never, ever thought about Thomas
it
Edison.
literally blew my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They haven't thought about him since American history class in 11th grade.
Right.
I actually don't really know how they feel about him in Europe. We have a lot of European listeners. So I would actually very much like to hear
let us know
your opinions on that. But yeah, one critical thought a day, guys. That's a good goal. That's a good goal.
That is a good goal.
Yeah. Maybe fact check yourself. I hate to do it. I hate fact checking myself, but I do it and
you gotta.
Fucking sucks. But it does make me even more insufferable than I've ever been. So that's the bright side. Makes me.
I'm Mr. Brightside.
But thank you for sharing that. That was a really good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad.
So.
I've hovered around that one literally since we started the podcast. I just never did it. I just didn't
love
know if anyone
conspiracy.
would care.
What do you mean? That's so fun.
Because you know me.
I do know you.
The things that I think are fun, other people don't.
I feel like it's fun.
I know, but then when you think it's fun, I'm like, oh, it's actually fun.
You're like, dang, it would have been fun.
Yeah, I was like, ah, shit. Like, it actually was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I know. My hair looks like poodle. I look like a poodle who got a bad blowout. It's really rough over here.
I wasn't going to say it.
I saw you look from side to side. I saw your eyes. I'm like if you accidentally brush out like one of those big, like the adult poodles, not a mini, not a doodle, like an adult poodle, and you like accidentally brush out their ears and it gets like very wide. That's what's happening with my hair right now, if anyone's wondering.
But you look really cute.
Thank you. Should we finish this off with a listener story?
Yes.
Let's do it. Okay, so this is from our cool kid, James.
Hi, James.
And James says, so I don't know if this is the place to share this or whatever, but anyway, the last month or so, I have been having very vivid dreams to the point where I'm asking people I normally interact with about what I thought actually happened, and they have no idea because some of these dreams are so vivid, they feel like real life.
This feels like the place to share it.
Yes. Sometimes these dreams will be interactions or things that happen at work. I've been so used to experiencing this and being dismissed that I've stopped sharing them. I guess my coworkers are not cool kids and don't believe in premonitions or something.
Lame.
But I've noticed some of them happen the next day after my weird dreams. It varies, as something as simple as a certain pizza being messed up. Yes, Amanda, I also work in service industry, to a very deep, intimate conversation. Not word for word, but about the same topic or related thing. It's been wild for a few months. Wow, what a long-winded way to share my experience recently. Anyway, I had this dream the other night. My mother, who fortunately passed away peacefully in June of 2023, showed up where I currently live. And I'm assuming they said fortunately because she passed away peacefully.
Right.
The last time I saw her was in the hospital, and she was delirious and not making any sense. My grandmother told me that she couldn't recognize anyone or even speak. I walked into the room, took my hat off. She stopped shaking, looked me in the eye, smiled, and said, "Oh, my boy, I just love my boy." She immediately went back to incoherent and passed away about 2 weeks later. Feel free to exclude this as I mentioned it at the end if it's worthy of the pod, but ultimately this is for you guys, as this was such a life-changing, heartwarming experience. I knew then that my mother, who struggled so much through life, genuinely loved me and always loved seeing me. Despite her condition, I made her happy once more. I was watching MasterChef at the time and trying to finish the whole series, and this was one of our favorite shows. I have to keep up as it makes her feel present and loved. Anyway, back on track. That night, I fell asleep and my mother visited me, and she was smiling from ear to ear. She just kept saying, "I love you, my boy. That thing will be okay very soon." That's when I noticed a ring on her hand. It's the ring that I now wear on my necklace every single day to carry her spirit. I'm so sorry, Amanda. Don't cry.
I was just getting emotional.
She unfortunately suffered heavily from addiction. Fuck Big Pharma. But the one thing she never lost was the birthstone ring that I got for her for Christmas 13 years ago. I woke up and I have never felt such peace. I immediately was reminded of those last words that she was able to utter, and my heart was full of joy. The ring, the encouragement, the calm, I knew. I don't know exactly how long she visited me in my dream, but it felt like we watched a whole season of MasterChef, like we did exactly when I visited her for Mother's Day, right before she passed away. I have never felt more sure that this was one of those premonitions. I've been stressing about my life a lot recently, but my mother, my best friend, she showed up to tell me that she still supports me. It was so comforting to know that she is still watching and holding on to that ring to show that she still has my best interests and, most importantly, my back. I told my brother, and he said he has experienced something very similar to my dream. It blew our minds, and having that shared experience was so powerful. Anyways, thanks to you guys for being awesome, making me laugh constantly, keeping me on my toes with the supernatural, and don't worry, my front door is always locked. And I'm always opening my mind to the mysterious. Much love from James, aka Jimmy. Side note, not that this is what this is about, but feel free to use this as a story if it's worth it, and let people know that their loved ones are still watching over them and will guide them if they open their minds and their hearts. Sometimes they guide us in a direction we don't even know that we need. Mama always said, quote, trust me, I just know. Jimmy.
Okay, Jimmy.
He said, Amanda, don't cry.
I know.
That was really sweet. And it's so difficult when you like deal with people who are going through addiction because you know a lot of like the negative parts of what they're going through is not them, you know?
Yeah.
And like as someone who's been around people who have dealt with addiction in my life, like that's like so difficult.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you could find peace and also so much love and respect for your mother and her memory.
Yeah.
That's really wonderful.
And also like watching MasterChef. I resonate with that.
I was gonna say that's Amanda loves MasterChef.
Yes, I do. But yeah, that was I would call that a visitation, not a premonition, really.
Yeah, but to me it just sounds like you're open to it.
You're open to it.
Yeah.
And she came back to just let you know everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah. And that she still has your back.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Ugh.
And
okay.
I'm also glad that you were able to bring her joy in her last moments as well. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. We love you.
We do.
And I'm glad that you can find peace and comfort in that experience. Very much so. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you have a story you would like to share with us, you can do that at dtkpod.com/contact. You can also find, like I said before, our social media, our YouTube. So if you want to see pictures and videos from today's show, that will be on there. You can also find our Patreon if you're interested in that. And like I said earlier, if you haven't left us a 5-star review, please go do that. It helps us out immensely, more than you would ever think.
It really does.
So thank you so much for listening, and make sure you keep your front door locked.
Make sure you keep your mind open.
And keep drinking the Kool-Aid.